or so YouTube short uploaded, and I'll be talking about gang stalking, my gang stalking experience, and one of the most wicked things that the program has done. I'm going to turn off the chat here, where they will send in the cyber stalkers to run interference. This was a part of talking cyber stalking. So I'm a gang stalk target video. What does that mean? That means that I am the target of a secret program that works to persecute me. And I've been a program called gang stalking. Now I do believe that I've been meddled with and targeted since childhood. Only it wasn't until my early 20s that the gang stalking targeting switched, was turned on, and it became obvious to me that I was a target of a program of like a group effort to target me. And the things that happened in childhood that I, in hindsight, look at and go, yeah, the deep saver work in my life already before we do. There's a connection to satanic secret societies and gang stalking. And what happened right before the tournament started, I got a letter in the mail from a relative in a secret society. Odd Fellows secret society. Tell me what to do with my life. Like nudge me, try to control me, tell me what to do with my life. And I went no contact, ripped up the letter, threw it in the trash. Ross Rosenberg, what to do when you prepare to go no contact with an awesome somebody. They will just roll up to this. So anyway, I'm 36 today. I became targeted in my early 20s. The program, you notice when they wanted to notice. Okay. When the program before that is worked to manipulate the target's life and spy on you and play games and things like this. Before the target even starts in a target's life, when you know that the targeting has started because it's targeted by the program covertly for years before that, they've been working to kind of set you up for future targeting. For example, they can work to isolate you, destroy relationships, to make you more vulnerable once they turn the target on you. Kind of prep work, where, well, if you have finances, it's like if you have money, like you have money to, okay, you're not poor, you're not like on food stamps or disability. The program can start to work to exhaust your finances, maybe it's like your car have problems, this type of stuff that can happen before the targeting. Certainly, when you notice the program has started, this because before that, the program works to soften you up and make you targetable if you're not targetable enough already. So, for example, in a target's life, before the targeting switch turns on and they become aware, because you've been paused enough to that they're being targeted with a group effort, okay, targeting. The program can work to exhaust the target's finances. Money answers all things. So obviously it's easier to target somebody who's not rich. And the closer it is, the easier it is to target somebody. Because the program works to create problems in your life, and you can answer a lot of these problems. You need to spend money to deal with the targeting, which means, for example, they can create problems if you have a car. If you have a bicycle that you rely on for transport, they can do things like have somebody steal your bike or puncture the tire. They work to get you fired from your job by creating things with your car or your bicycle so often that it's like you get fired because the boss thinks you're lying. See, so they can work to get you fired. That's a simple way they can work to try to get you fired, without that coming to your boss or the badge and say it's the government need to fire this person. Like Susetsa program. Like, for example, let's say I had a job before the tornado started, and I bicycle like 2 miles to work in the morning. And then it's like in the morning I come out and the tire is a flat tire. And then like there's a problem, I have to go take a bus, or 30 minutes or an hour late, and I go to my boss, hey, sorry, my bicycle when I came out today was broken or something like this. Maybe one time it'd be like, okay, it could have happened. But if things like this keep happening, like you buy a new bicycle, and it's like the new bicycle gets stolen, it's not even broken. And then it's like the second time, it's like, sorry boss, I'm late for work again. I bought a new bike and it got stolen. It's like not only like 1 week ago You came in late because you said there was something wrong with the bike. You bought a new bike and it's already been stolen. That they can keep doing things like this. There are small things that are plausibly deniable, but can still make a big difference. So I don't intend to spend too much time with that. This is mostly, well, it's for anybody interested to know the truth about the targeting. This is relevant facts. These are relevant facts, but especially if a Tony video finds this video, it can be helpful to them to get cleared in the targeting and understand some things, especially if it's somebody who's a few years into over-targeting. Over-targeting meaning after you became aware you targeted with a program, and you know that. So the program can work to isolate, for example. At the start of my targeting, my relationship with my ex-girlfriend fell apart. Okay. So, and I believe that was by design, that they were working to sabotage the relationship, as a matter of fact. Which means once the target started, I was living alone. Before I was living with a girlfriend, living with her. And it's easy to target somebody who's isolated. So that's one of the things that started at the beginning of my targeting. So basically, the program before the targeting starts overtly will work to weaken you and make you more vulnerable and easier to target by your finances, relationships. They want you as weak as possible. They want you to be not financially, to have a support system. So if you have friends, family will work to get isolate you from friends, family, and things like this. One day they can even do that is to have respective others of your loved ones be agents for the program. And I didn't make that up. Just like I did this many times to talk about it. I have a saying: if they can't get to those close to you, they get to those close to you. My Swedish sister, her ex was a Swedish cop with a Freemason father. Did you read the website I've been sharing for years about gangstalking? Bullet point fact is by real T.I. Chuck Lagerberg. And I've been picked up the torch with his work to expose gangstalking in the way that he helped me understand. It was very valuable for me to find Chuck Lagerberg and Ted Gunderson. Okay, and it took years of being taught until I found Ted Gunderson and his information about gangstalking, and Chuck Lagerberg, which is late. I believe he was murdered by the program. Late T.I. Chuck Lagerberg. And finding these two people was really helpful for me to get more clarity and to become more aware of the dangers to the program in working against it. Because Chuck Lagerberg helped me to see the simple truth of how to control the TIA communities, where most TIA are fakes and the crazy talkers. And that's how they work to cover up gangstalking. And I believe that Chuck Lagerberg was murdered by the program. And before the last part of his life, he was talking about physical targeting, chemical attacks, like toxic gases being pumped into his apartment from under the door or the window or something like this. Food poisoning in restaurants, he brought that up. So at the end of his targeting, I mean, it's shortly before he disappears, and then now it's like a death notice, like a eulogy or something like this. All you can find is like he died. Chuck Lagerberg died this year or something like this. He was talking like he was a live streamer, only, and he was talking about initially. It's like if you look, maybe he was around 10 years or so, 5-10 years active online, working to do what I'm doing, activists, work to get the word about gangstalking, working to expose fake TIs and get the word out about gangstalking, as he said. And towards the end stage, what happened before he disappeared and died, like the last part of the talk, like the last third of his talking before he died, he started talking about poisoning. So initially it was more like harassment and psychological warfare he was talking about. Eventually started talking about being physically targeted. But they were targeting him with chemicals, poisons basically, food poisoning, and other things. And here's the thing. He had a talk show called recorded live, okay? Yeah, hello, this is Chuck T.I., Vancouver T.I., okay? Come from Vancouver, okay? So, talk show recorded live, something like this. So yeah, anyway, Chuck Lagerberg was a real T.I. He's one of the few people I'll put my stamp on. He was a real T.I. Okay, no crazy talk. And it's only like one thing, like one recording that I have a major issue with. And that was the end of his life, okay? And it could have been that he was kind of not thinking too much and just said something. Where it's like, whatever, this one thing, but it was really crazy talk. Now, anyway, here's the point. Yeah, so I'm not talking in the video. I've been talking with a secret persecution program called GANGSTALKING videos. And I've been talking for more than a decade now. And I talked about how the program will work to sabotage your life before the targeting even starts. I need to verify my stream is hard because to me it looks like the frame rate is low for some reason. So I gotta go check on my laptop, pull up my own stream, and verify that we have acceptable audio video quality. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay. So, so what is gang stalking? It's a secret persecution program reminiscent of the SATANIC program that the German government had in the 70s and 80s, ran by the Stasi. And just as when I talked about this, there was a guy on the Wikipedia article that was complaining about being taught about the Stasi persecution program called SATANIC. And the Stasi said this guy has a paranoid view of function. So one of the risks of being a target video is being falsely diagnosed, mislabeled as a paranoid schizophrenic or some kind of mental illness problem. And there is actually an agenda to have you misdiagnosed as a crazy person. And they have plants in hospitals. The deep state have plants, agents all over society. Plants in hospitals, plants in schools, the police, okay, they have agents all over society. It's like the Matrix movie. Look around, what do you see? They're part of that system. Businessmen, lawyers, this is part of that system. Unfortunately, I've seen Christian ministries participate in the tournament. Where I think I'll do the Bible church, and I'll be getting into this satanic ritual abuse, which is part of the title, where basically as a long theme in the targeting, the program, GANGSTALKING persecution program, as a psychological warfare narrative, will be working to communicate threats to me that are going to hurt my mother, make her bleed, and then blood sacrifice, going to make your mother bleed, sacrifice, blood sacrifice, satanic things like this, to a psychological warfare theme. And it's like, a real TI would understand what I'm talking about. I mean, it's like, to other people, it might take some explaining, or people watch all my videos, or start watching, keep watching to understand some of the targeting tactics. And it sounds kind of like how I watch Raffi Connell's videos. I never saw him go like, hey, Mike, the deep state told me to say, we're going to make your mother bleed as a sacrifice, boy. Okay, I didn't see anything like that. No, there's something called narcissistic dog abuse tactics. Conveying something, insinuating something, communicating some veiled threats. Have you ever heard about veiled threats? So the gang stalk is so sophisticated that the threats are so veiled, it's like the highest level of veiled a lot of times. Okay, so part of gang stalking, a big part of gang stalking persecution program, is communication via flying monkeys. So from the framework of narcissistic abuse, psychopathic abuse, that covers a big part of the program, which I have work to do understanding it. Psychology generally, subcategory, narcissism, psychopathy, and narcissistic abuse, and things like this. So gang stalking is narcissistic psychopathic abuse on steroids. It's recruitment of flying monkeys via smear campaigns. It's gaslighting is a big part of it. So it's narcissistic psychopathic abuse at like the highest level that exists. It's on an institutional level, where I talked about this before. A run-of-the-mill narcissist, that's like one man who's a narc with his girlfriend or wife, and he's like a narcissist. It's the most common form of narcissistic abuse. It's like one-on-one interpersonal relationship, husband, wife, or boss and employee or something like this. They might be able to recruit flying monkeys by being convincing in line to people about the target. And mostly it's like, do you understand? Now, everything is upscaled and higher level when it's on a government level. The government can pay people to be flying monkeys. They can pay people hourly to be flying monkeys. The government smear campaign, it's going to be a government level smear campaign. Part of Rosetta, the Rosetta point in the 70s and 80s, pre-Photoshop, they produced convincingly enough fake evidence to present to people to justify the target, to recruit people into participating in gang stalking of the targets of Rosetta, which could be like a Polaroid photo of you standing with a jerry can next to a church on fire, stuff like this. And then the Stasi shows up at your workplace. Hey, look at your employee. It's like, we got him on investigation. Look at what he did in the weekend. He set fire to a church. He's an arsonist. And then it looked real enough, the fake evidence in the 70s and 80s, to convince people. See, so everything is going to be higher level. So anyways, the point, we're going to get to the main topic is satanic ritual abuse. And I'm not contradicting myself. I talk about crazy talk and spiritual crazy talk. When I say satanic ritual abuse, that's not saying it's spirits. There's something called satanic ritual abuse, which means if I would kidnap you, lock it to a pipe in the basement, and then carve a pentagram in the head, that would be satanic ritual abuse without any spirits involved. See, it's like if I'm telling you I'm going to shed your blood for Satan or something like this, and then cut you, that would be satanic ritual abuse. Do you understand? So the spirit world wouldn't even have to be real for that to be true. If you were, I don't know, I guess you could call it like atheist ritual abuse. If somebody would like kidnap you, be like, you're a monkey and I'll treat you like a monkey for Darwin or something like this. I guess you could call that atheist evolutionist ritual abuse or something like this. Okay. So anyways, the point. And the likelihood that I would even try something like this is next zero, but it's like I don't have to do a disclaimer on that. So okay, here's the point. Yeah, so I've been taught with a secret persecution program called GANGSTALKING of target videos. Stop watching my videos, keep watching if you want to know the truth about that. And also there's other things I've been teaching that are relevant to every person, meaning secret health fitness truth, rare health fitness truth that can help you to look, feel better, get smarter, have more energy, live longer. I can teach people weight loss secrets. I can teach men how to raise testosterone naturally. I can teach people why it's so hard for them to get in shape. A lot of men have dad balls in the 20s and low energy. It's because they got low testosterone. I know why they got low testosterone, because we got one they can see. I have the decoded matrix system. God has helped me to understand health fitness, which means I can be edifying to Christians and others. So anyway, here's the point. I know why men have low T. There's an agenda to weaken the masses. And I find it hard to deal with like a service. I'm like, yeah, compartmentalized. Gang stalking is a conspiracy. Without really, when I start teaching something, it's like my natural thing is like do a full job, understand? Not like, well, here's this little compartment, a conspiracy. Okay. No, it's like government gang stalking. Who controls the government? The deep state. Okay. What are the deep state like? The deep state Illuminati behind the scenes, secret societies. It's secret societies and organizations, CFR, Trilateral Commission, Bilderberg, Odd Fellows, Freemasons, Council for Racial Relations, CFR, and things like this. That's the real, that's like the hidden power hierarchy who control from behind the scenes. And here's a radical view that I have. I believe that politics is like a puppet show. I believe it's like a scam. It's more a scam than it is real, okay? I mean, I believe that presidents are puppets of the deep state, which means Biden was a puppet of the deep state. Trump is a puppet of the deep state. George Carlin, I think it was, or was it Bill Hicks that had a joke? Who you want, the puppet on the left or the puppet on the right? And yeah, so that comic got societal commentary down more accurately, in my view, than people that are like, yeah, we're a podcast teaching on the world politics or something like this. The truth on the world we need to know or something like this. Okay. So anyways, the point. We're gonna get into the satanic ritual abuse aspect. So, what is gang stalking? It's a secret persecution program similar to Zersetzung with a Z. Zersetzung, which was a German persecution program they had in the 70s and 80s. So I like to mention that too in my activism, because it's like people that go, Mike, you're paranoid and crazy, and a lot of these people are paid. So part of the gang stalk is harassment all in real life, and people work to discredit me. Abusive system of control will always work to discredit whistleblowers. So I'm whistleblowing about system tyranny, And as usual, you have people working to discredit me. This guy's a crackhead. Stop doing meth. Start doing meth. You either like the problem is you're not on drugs and should be, or the problem is you're on drugs and shouldn't. And they can't seem to make up your mind. So you better find it. Let me guide you through the purple rain, purple rain, purple. Okay. So don't seem to be able to make up the mind. If the problem is the people in the chat of theirs when I'm making conspiracy streams, you're not on drugs and should be. Sometimes it's like they act like a doctor on prescription in the chat. Lexapro. You do well with Lexapro. You need Lexapro. You need antipsychotics. Okay, mood stabilizers. I understand. And then sometimes it's like they accuse me of being on drugs and I'm not, and they be specific, like you're on drugs, stop doing drugs, or specifically you're doing crack, stop doing crack or meth or coke or something like this. I don't do drugs. As a matter of fact, I'm a Christian, and I quit drinking alcohol 100%. It's 6.5 months now, not a drop of alcohol. I took a 4-year sober challenge. So I wasn't an alcoholic before that. Typically people who talk like count months to stop drinking, most of those people are like AA people. They like get a batch, it's like 7 months now, okay, another day or something like this. So I have self-awareness and I understand how I sound when I say certain things and appear. So anyway, now there's a lack of care, like hyper-focus of how people perceive me, which is called with narcissists, where I have like a false self in the sense that people think they're weird or crazy, basically the opposite of admirable, where I don't have problem with that. So, meaning, when I started to speak out about this, I'm a person that's handsome, intelligent, multi-talented. If I wanted to like make money and be popular, it'd be better for me to be more normie and just like do the health fitness stuff and nothing else, and not talk about I'm a target conspiracy. Because 9 out of 10 people will be like, oh, this guy's nuts. This guy's nuts and crazy. And that's looking down on somebody, the opposite of admiring them or respecting them. But this guy's a paranoid, crazy person. And I understood that that's what's going to happen to me because I looked at what's happened to other people. Chuck Langenberg and others. But here's the thing. You don't take a fight only if you're 100% certain that you're going to win it. A fight worth fighting is worth fighting and losing. See? A fight worth fighting is worth fighting. Win, lose, or draw. Understand? I used the analogy before. When I decided to start fighting back and do activism, it got to a point where I was targeted like a closet here, like a lot of people are. Like having a double life. Where it's like you might be active online or talk to people, but you're like not really bringing up this gang stalking stuff happening in your life. And it got to a point where I decided to start speaking out. And I understood that makes make them target me most likely harder, try harder to take me out and things like this, and make it. But it got to a point where I was already paying too high of a price without speaking out. And I was at a point where I could have died. I came close to dying from the targeting before I started working to expose it, understand? So, including being abducted by the cops in the middle of the night and put to a psych ward. That was before I started making videos about I'm targeted in this city by that type of targeting. So being just a TI with PTSD, CPTSD, before I heal myself. I used to suffer from agoraphobia and panic attacks, cure myself for that. Agoraphobia and panic attacks. But back when I was having like raging PTSD, CPTSD, and I would only go out at night typically, because it's like, if you have agoraphobia or social anxiety generally, PTSD, CPTSD, like the more people in motion and sounds and stuff, the worse it gets. So I would avoid going outside. I'd be a loner hermit, and I'd be kind of similar to now. I'd stick to myself a lot. But only now you see me sometimes going broad daylight downtown to the little town square, being kind of relaxed, obviously. And like live streaming, talking about the birds and stuff. See, and going to a crowded shopping center. See, so I have been thriving, not just surviving, despite the targeting. So targets on baseline, narcissistic abuse definitely could learn something from me. Because if I've been able to thrive, improve, grow, overcome psychological health problems, while the abuse is still ongoing at an extreme level, maybe that could apply to a lighter level of targeting. See, there used to be a woman called Dana Morningstar, Thrive After Abuse. And her YouTube channel was called Thrive After Abuse. Because I don't follow for that. Meaning it's like, let's be realistic here. We're not going to be like, I'm here, I can teach you how to thrive before the abuse stops. It's like you first or basically got to get the abuse to stop, then we can get to thriving and healing from the CPTSD, the whatever problems you have from multi-year narcissistic abuse. We can get you to healing and growing and possibly thriving. after that. Whereas I've been thriving while the abuse is going on. What I mean by thriving? Well, I haven't been like daily in survival mode, where it's like, oh, another day I'm miserable and suffer all the time, and I'm just like focused on surviving. No, I've been growing like as a person. I've been perfecting skills. I've been improving mentally, physically, and spiritually. I've been healing myself of mental, physical health problems while the abuse is going on. I've been, it's like taking Maslow's hierarchy needs and sort of the trash. It's like, well, first you need to have your basic needs of like food, shelter, safety method until really you can start working to like be a part of actualization and like help the world and the acting community to help others. And do you understand? It's just that's I don't play by the rules here. So I've been working to I've been thriving, not just surviving. So anyways, the point. So yeah, I used to suffer from panic attacks, PTSD, CPTSD, and agoraphobia. That basically extreme general social anxiety, and then especially such situations. And I would avoid going outside. So that's another thing I killed myself: agoraphobia and panic attacks. I was suffering from panic attacks for many years. Cured myself from panic attacks. I didn't go to a psychologist. It's like I cured myself. I fixed myself with panic attacks. Another thing I've cured is asthma attacks. So anyways, the point. I used to avoid going outside in the daytime because back when I had agoraphobia, like extreme social anxiety, PTSD, CPTSD, it'd be just too stressful to be out in public. Like when there's a lot of people, it made me too stressed, especially when the cops would be harassing me and show up. And do you understand? There would be like it's like the cops would show up and harass me and like acting as if they were trying to make me stressed out. Okay. So I've also got threatened by a cop. So that could give you PTSD in of itself. If a cop says, hey, next time you get pulled upp, nästa gång du har med oss att göra, då kommer det inte vara så trevligt för dig. A cop told me that. Like next time you run into us, meaning the cops they represent, the whole police force, it's not going to be pleasant for you. I think that's a real threat. Okay? After a 30-minute harassment session at my own home, after coming home from the corner store, and I've been shopping, and I'm sitting down, and there's a cop car that just happens. You think I'm living in like Chicago, how much cops I see being a tornado in this small town with like 10,000 inhabitants or so. Okay? But, so it's like, it's not average citizen experience. It's not that the amount of interactions where the police come to me and there's an interaction that I have on video a lot of. The average Swedish person doesn't have that amount of like cops showing up, spending 10-15 minutes talking to them and checking the pockets and everything else. So, anyways, the point. Long story short, back when I had raging PTSD, PTSD, quite possibly literally, okay, figuratively. So back when I had raging PTSD, agoraphobia, and I was in all kinds of bad ways, okay, and I could barely go outside because it'd be too stressful. I had panic attacks and I get really stressed, and the cops would harass me too. So I had gone to the corner store, which I've gone to sometimes when I do the live streams. It's not every live stream I do that's public. Sometimes I go live unlisted, sometimes privately. Now that's the point. This is before I saw the live stream. And I go to the corner store, and on my way back, I did my grocery shopping in the corner store. Why? Because it's less, like 3 minutes to walk there, less people in the corner store than like a mall type supermarket. So it's like do my grocery shopping there, and then shop, and then 3 minutes back, and then I wait until it's dark, so there's less people outside and stuff. It's so stressful for me to be outside. And at one of these times, after coming home to like my apartment complex, this has happened to my YouTube streams, and I kind of stopped that habit. But like after I come home, walking from the supermarket, shopping something, I sit down on a bench outside the apartment complex, have a smoke before going upstairs to my apartment. And anyways, I had 2 bags of grocery bags from the corner store, and I come back, and it's at night, maybe it's 8, it's after dark, okay, before midnight, it's after dark. I come home, it's between 1800 hours and midnight, I would say. Why? Because they close at 22:30, and it's dark in Sweden. It wasn't winter, it wasn't snow on the ground, and it gets dark. So I will guesstimate between 6 and mid 10. Okay. Anyways, the point. I sit down on a bench and there's like a small parking lot outside the apartment complex. Like this apartment complex. It's like a high-rise apartment complex, 7 stories where I used to live. I sit down with the bags next to me, grocery bags, in plain view. And I'm a guy sitting on a bench with 2 grocery bags there. And I'm having a cigarette outside of the apartment complex where I was living. Okay? And I sit there having a smoke there. And what would you have it? It's like the timing. There's a police car that appears here, meaning like here's a house here and there's a road here. Like there's a police car that pulls back, comes out, does a U-turn, comes back, parks in front of me with like the headlights, high beams on. I'm autistic, I got sensitivities too. So that's like how to cause a meltdown in autistic person, extreme stress. Now this is before I was diagnosed. I won't be surprised if the government knew I was autistic before I got diagnosed. Okay? Meaning there was a social worker, for example, back when I was on disability as a young man. I go to the social office to renew and stuff like this. And they'd be like, maybe you should get tested for autism, you might have it or something like this. Meaning somebody I met several times. Also, somebody wasn't a government worker, but my mother's ex-husband had a daughter with autism. So these are like things before I got diagnosed. There were several people in my life that would say you might have autism, you should get tested, or would recommend it. So my mother's ex-husband had a daughter with autism, Asperger's. And obviously he spent a lot of time with me, and he knows his daughter understands autism. He'd be like, you know what, I think you might be on the spectrum, kind of. Maybe you should get it checked out or something like this. And he said, I didn't care about it. So this before I got diagnosed, it would happen now and then that somebody, a social worker, or somebody that knows somebody with autism, or something like this, but hey, maybe you got autism or something like this. So anyway, that's the point. Let's not get carried away and sidetracked. So the 1 minute. So back then, okay, when I had agoraphobia, PTSD, basically anxiety, get panic attacks, and couldn't be outside without being super stressed, like 11, 9 out of 10 stress. I go shopping in the corner store, sit down, there's a cop car that comes, turns, parks with the headlights on, like here, and I'm on the bench. And then doors open, and there's 2 female police officers, which I think is not normal. And I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not afraid. I'm a Swedish man. I'm against feminism, contemporary feminism. I'm against strong women, okay, and weak men. I believe that femininity is a value. So people that don't understand this, like brainwashed, like people like me, that's like, I don't like masculine women. I think that's repulsive. I don't like effeminate men. I think that's repulsive. They might go, oh, you're an anti-woman, you're against, no, but you're not understanding. Feminism is anti-woman, see? Because what is feminism? It's like, it's not good enough to be a woman in this world. See, they act as if there's something wrong to be a woman. If you look at the femmes, they have short hair, a male haircut, a lot of them, dressed like a guy, like Rachel Maddow's type, and they adopt like a male body language and way of speaking, but it doesn't come natural to them. It's similar to somebody who plays gay in a movie or something like this. Hello, guys. Oh, I love guys. See, this is not how I talk. That's not male energy, masculine energy that came out of me there. See, but it's like if I wanted to be like in a circumstance, like it would be advantageous to be more feminine and less masculine. I guess like, oh yeah, oh I'm scared of, oh, do you understand? And it's like there's something with my body language and my energy changes. So similar in that, you have a lot of, getting to another talk now, destroyed Western women. They're hyper masculine. They have male energy, hyper masculine, walk, talk, act like guys, dress like guys. See? And that's a problem. I'm not afraid, like a lot of people are, to say radical opinions. Okay? Like to seem to be gay. I don't like feminism. I'm for traditional gender roles. Okay? So, anyway, I don't believe that. So basically, oh, Mark, you're actor. No, I'm not. If you listen to what I'm saying, but I'm being dumb at the same time. People, men like me, it's like, oh, Mike is like women that act like men, he doesn't like that. What are you doing? Medical communication is, it is something wrong inherent of being a woman. See? That's what they're teaching. You have to be more like a man. Dress, talk, walk, act like a man. Adopt male energy in the business world to make it as a businesswoman. You have to talk more like guys and be tougher and like have your body language more like men and dress like a man and be tougher and things like this and more manly, okay? It's like as if your communication is not good enough to be a woman. You have to be less womanly and more like the other sex, a man, to be accepted in this world. And do you understand? So the real anti-women is the feminism. Because I'm a person that value femininity. There's something valuable, femininity. So if I go, it's bad. Yeah, there's an agenda to destroy femininity, to make women less womanly, men less manly, which means it's an attack on masculinity, which is valuable, and it's an attack on femininity, which is valuable. And I don't care what you think, because you can't think critical out there, and you haven't seen through the propaganda. And it's like, girls, okay, get on the boat with Greta Thunberg. Get on the boat with Greta Thunberg, and then maybe have a rainbow-colored hat with like global warming is going to kill us all, and do like a one-stop shop, catch-all protest, where it's like you're going to Gaza, to Israel is bad, okay, and then you fly one gay pride flag and one global warming is going to kill us all flag, like this, okay, and you can whatever. Says the point. Two women, and I don't need help from deep well. So okay, so there's two women cops that show up. So it's like this: park it there, open the door, and it come out there, and as usual. Now for like a hassling, making Mike South feel abused. It's almost like low-level torture. He's an autistic person, got PTSD, and it's like stressful enough to be outside, and it's like make it as stressful as possible, capitalize on their psychological issues to like really make them really stressed, okay? And with the autism especially, like my sensitivities, that's why I wear sunglasses a lot, and earplugs, because commonly correlating with autism or sensory sensitivities. Also with other neurological things like ADHD. There's quite a lot of people with ADHD too. They're not diagnosed with autism, they have sensory sensitivities. Now, I have sensitivities, which means I get stressed from bright lights, flashing lights. It's not just the lights, basically. They can be the flicker rate, the frequency type of light, and it can vary. So light bulbs, Edison bulbs, are not that annoying. Natural light, the sun, it's not annoying to me. It's the LEDs and the electronics, so like artificial light, you would call it, is what I have an issue with. Not natural light, like the sun or candlelight, like an Edison bulb that has like a thread that heats up and produces light. And I think it's like about 90% of the heat, of the energy produced by a light bulb, Edison bulb, is heat energy, and about 10% or so is light. Okay, so it's more radiated than the light. Okay, so anyway, that's the point. Yeah. So anyway, the cops show up, park there, doors open. There's two women there, and they start like, "Hey, where you going?" Same old. "Hey, where you going? Where you been? Do you live in the city? What's your name? Okay, where you going?" Like a fishing expedition. Like, where you going? And then they show up, and I go. A lot of times, the first time I'll be like, "Am I suspect of a crime?" Because the cops are approaching me. Like, "Am I suspect of a crime?" And they go, "No, but we'd like to talk to you and know who you are or something. It's what you're doing here." I'm like, "I'm sitting down here. I'm having a smoke. I live up here." It's like, "Oh, well, so where are you coming from? Where, how long have you been living here? What do you do? What do you do for a living? What's your name?" Do you understand? Like a fishing expedition. And I'm not claiming verbatim here on the dialogue, but it's like basically that, okay? It's like, "What's your name?" And they keep pushing for my name and ID card. I go, "Am I suspect of a crime?" And they go, "No." And I go, "Then to my knowledge, I don't have to show an ID card unless you tell me I'm suspect of a crime. And if you tell me by law I have to show an ID, I will do it. I'm not a sovereign citizen." Sometimes if you're like an auditor, like a man that cares about your right and is willing to stand up for them, and you're not the matrix system sheep, or there's like cop tells you something and it's like, okay, but you know you have rights and you want to stand up for them. So sometimes people can discredit you, try to be, "Oh, you're a sovereign citizen." If I tell stories like this, to be like, "Oh, you sound like a sovereign citizen." No, a sovereign citizen was driving a car without a license, and the cops come and be like, "Hey, you need to see a driver's license." "I don't need a driver's license. I'm traveling in the law of the land," or something like this. "I'm free to travel." And they're like, "Oh, this guy is driving with a driver's license and thinks he doesn't need one." And they'd be like, "I don't consent to search." Now it's like, so that's a difference. So if the cops, a lot of times they were established, if they're asking me pretty please, or it's legal command. Because dealing with the police, several times it can be like, it can happen that you're, I don't know, exercising home, the cops can knock on the door. Like, "Hey, there's some neighbor called and said there's something going on there." And it's like, "Can you open the door? We want to talk to you. We want to talk to you. Could you open the door? Okay, or why don't you open the door? We can talk to you." And if you go, do you have a warrant or am I suspect of a crime? They might go, no. And I go, well, if you tell me you got a warrant, I have to open the door, or you're breaking it down, then open the door. But as long as you're just asking me to open the door voluntarily, I'm not voluntarily opening. But if you tell me I have to by law open the door, you're going to break it down, or something like this, then I open the door. Okay? So it's similar to if a cop in America will go stop a guy and start talking to him and go, you know what, we'd like to check your trunk. Yeah, would you mind popping the trunk so you can look? See, they don't have like reasonable suspicion for searching your vehicle. Like legally, they're not. So that's why they're asking. And this happens like globally with police, American and Swedish police, similar. Where like they can go, for another example, would be I'm outside live streaming, which I've checked the law, I know the law, that it's fully legal to live stream in public and videotape. That's legal in Sweden. And a lot of times when I'm outside live streaming, that's why I have videos of police interactions. Because it's happened, I go outside doing IRL vlog live streaming, and I'm doing activism, many birds one stone. I'm making it harder for people to harass me and mess with me, including the police, because it's being documented. And back then, the cops didn't have body cameras. Now some of them, I think, have body cams. Okay, so if I would feel like the cops did something to harass me, it wouldn't be impossible to FOIA request it. I told you, they showed up and called me names and stuff like this. Now, it's like if I have my own live stream, that's better. So anyways, the point. So it makes it harder for this state to target me live streaming. And what is the point? So a lot of times when I'm outside, the first thing out of the cop's mouth would be like, "Want to turn it off?" Like I'm live streaming, and I will tell them, like I'm live on YouTube right now. It's like a cop car shows up outside live streaming, and it's like they're like I'm a magnet, and they just show up there, okay? And they're like, "Hey," it's like, "Hey, why don't you turn that off?" Okay, so the other side, the part go like, "Hey, what talk to you?" I'm live on YouTube right now, or just like I'm live, okay? I'm live on, okay? Let them know. A lot of times the first thing out of my way, "I want to turn that off." Why don't you turn that off? Turn it off so we can talk. Now, that's not a legal command. Meaning it's not illegal to live stream in public. Which should be similar to a cop saying, "Give me 10 push-ups right now." And I go, "No." See? And they go, "Oh, okay." But sometimes they pull up on a guy, go, "Give us 10 push-ups right now." He does it. "Yes, officer." Okay, like lick the boots. "Do you want your boots licked too?" Or something like this. Okay? You want me to tongue shine your shoes for you, something like this. Okay, so here's the point. That happens sometimes. I have at least 2 of them. But the first thing out of my mouth when the cops approach me, come to me and initiate engagement, and they go like, "Hey, we want to talk to you." I go, "I'm live." Okay, I'm live. Let them know. And they go, "Why don't you turn that off so we can talk?" See, or something to that effect. Or turn it off, we can talk. And I go, "It's not illegal to film." And they go, "Oh, well, yeah, you got a point." "Yeah, it's not." See? But it's like they try to see, they try to take you get me to be like, because the cop, I want to turn off. "Oh, okay." See? But I know that my rights. So there's a difference. So notice, it's not like anything a cop tells you is the law. A cop's job is not to enforce his thoughts and feelings. A police officer's job is to enforce the law of the land. Sveriges rikes lag. Grundlagen är speciellt på. So jag har yttrandefrihet. I have this freedom of expression to speak. I had the freedom of religion. I had the freedom, law protected, to be live streaming in public. So if anything, the cops should be protecting citizens live streaming if somebody's trying to interfere with it. And not work to interfere with citizens using their rights of live streaming and videotaping in public. Which is what they're doing. Which like it's not a crime, see. It's not like they take me to the police station and with me, but it's like causing me pain and hassle and hardship, make it hard for me to be a free man going live and go to the supermarket doing a live vlog. They make that hard because the cops show up, hold me for 15 minutes and make me stressed, and they end up demanding my ID and want to pat my pockets and things like this. For what? For exercising my rights. See? And they actually gave me that as a reason once, but it approached me. It's like, what's the matter? It's like, "Well, you acting weird in the store." And I go like, more precisely, like, how weird? And they go, "Well, you're videotaping, you're live streaming. So you were recording in the store." Okay. Which is not illegal. See? So, anyway, here's the point. Yeah, so this time where the cops showed up years back, okay? That's where I used to live over here, like over there, not a proper complex. On the 6th floor. My name is Luca. I lived on the 6th floor. I live upstairs from you. Yes, I think you've seen me before. It was sixth floor I lived there. Okay. Out of 7. Okay, there were gang stalking perps in that neighborhood too. Okay. Nose harassment and all kinds of stuff. Anyways, the point. So I come back from the corner store. I've been shopping at night because I got agoraphobia, PTC. I get stressed. I have panic attacks. I had mental health problems like you wouldn't believe. Enjoying it, not going crying to psychologists asking for some drugs, okay, or therapy. I was working to enjoy my suffering and work to improve myself, and I have improved myself. See, so discipline coupled with competence is very powerful. If you have competence and the discipline to apply the competence, knowledge, skills with consistent, diligent effort, that's really powerful. It's like you have the knowledge. Knowledge is power. Now, if you have the knowledge, be like, if a person exercises 20 minutes per day, it has this effect against depression according to studies of this. Some studies says people exercise 20 minutes per day are these many percent less likely to be depressed or something like this, become depressed. It's like, yeah, that is knowledge in Mike Sass brain. But unless you're actually applying it, which takes discipline, like daily exercising, it's not going to do you anything really. Okay, it's potential power. So anyway, here's the point. I was sitting outside my old apartment complex at a bench, like they have like a park bench next to the parking lot. And sit down to smoke, I have my grocery bags, cop car comes up, door swing open, headlights are on, okay? And I have autism sensitivities. Now, I wasn't diagnosed at that point, to my memory. But still, it was effective, okay? So, that's stressful, and then obviously this cop show up passing me again when I'm out in public. And they start going on a fishing expedition. It's like, what's your name? What are you doing here? And it's like, I don't want to give my name. Am I suspected of a crime? No, I don't want to give my name. Well, we want to know who you deal with. We want to see ID card. And like, am I suspected of a crime? Or you tell me, like, by law, I have to give my ID card right now. Because if they do, I'll go, okay, I take it. So that's not like a sovereign citizen. Where it's like, hey, you're under arrest, okay? I'm not under arrest. That's not, but it's like, if like, hey, why don't you open your door and let us in and talk to us? Like, do you have a warrant for my address? Am I suspected of a crime? Or you tell me if I don't open the door, you break it down, okay? Or is it just like you're asking me, like, pretty please, would you mind open the door, okay? Because there's a difference. And with a lot of citizens, the cops get away with making citizens, especially the more ignorant of the law, the more likely to be overcome by these tactics. Where they go like, hey, do you mind if I check your pockets? And if they'll be like, we're going to check your pockets, they have the legal right. A lot of times they won't be asking you. See? So if they have reasonable suspicion, like in America, to search a vehicle, reasonable, okay, they're not going to ask you, hey, sir, would you mind a popular trunk for us? We'd like to take a look in the trunk or something like this. Would you mind if I look inside the vehicle, sir? Would you mind if I look inside the vehicle? Is a question. If they had reasonable suspicion, where it's like a warrant for your car, they wouldn't ask you, would you mind or something like this. They'd be like, we're going to check your car, either open voluntarily or we're going to break it open or something like this. Okay? See? So I guess that it works to put in the numbers. A lot of Swedish citizens, if the cops see them, that they're doing a TikTok video, the cops show up and they start filming them or something like this. I guess for a lot of them, it's worked a few times when the cops go, turn it off right now. And it's like the person is like, oh, turns it off. See? And they'd be less likely to do that if they knew that it's not illegal to lie in public. So that's happened several times as I'm walking. And the first thing out of the cop's mouth is like, why don't you turn it off so we can talk, the lie sheet? Why don't you turn it off? Why don't you go ahead and turn it off? At least 2 times. No, actually 3. Why don't you turn it off? When I'm out to film lie in public, the cops show up like, turn it off. And I go, it's not legal to film. Which means no more rights and I'm standing for it. And they go, yeah, you're right. But and sometimes they go like, I don't like being filmed. So anyways, the cops there start going for my ID card, we got to check your pockets, yada yada. And I resist, I refuse, and it takes like maybe 15 minutes and I'm standing there pressuring me until I have enough of a camera in my pocket. And I get like my camera, I turn it on, and I stand up and I film them, and I go, what's your name? Ask their names. Okay. And I get their like documentation. I get their names. It's a red camera too. And then one that says the name is Jenica, I take a right circle around to go get the license plate of the police car. And then like the unit number. Okay. And then I sit down And then I guess they were waiting for backup or something. They felt uncomfortable. So I'm one man and the two police officers with pistols, pepper spray, batons, cuffs, and backup on the radio. But apparently one Christian man standing up to them made me feel uncomfortable somehow. But anyway, that's the point. So after a while, there's a bus, police van that shows up, and the guy comes out. And he's strutting there, walking. Okay, he's walking past. He said, "Why are you so upset?" It's because I feel harassed. I said, "I feel harassed. I feel harassed by you, the police, like in general." And it's like, "Oh well, harassment. It has to be the same person several times." So I said, "Well, it's your organization that keeps showing up, Raya. Okay, so I feel harassed by the police. Okay, generally. Yeah, because he said it was for a while, but I couldn't leave my home without them showing up." Anyways, the point. And they show up, they had my ID, eventually I never gave them my ID card. And then towards the end of it's I got food here to go to the cooler. Maybe it's been 30 minutes of them standing there, putting pressure on me, putting a flashlight in my eyes and stuff. I'm free to leave, can I go now? I got stuff to put up there. And then he left like a parting shot threat. It was like, "You know what, next time you get pulled over by us, it's not going to be that pleasant for you." So, which I interpret as a veiled threat. So if I get extra stressed after that, if the cops show up, I get threatened by a police officer that when the cops show up in the future, it's not going to be that pleasant for me. If I get stressed when the cops appear, with all the negative interactions and the threat that I've had, that's very understandable. And then especially when you see the video I uploaded yesterday, how they approach me. See, where it's like as if they're trying to make me think that I'm about to die. To give that's what it looks like. If I wanted to let's scare this guy and make him, give him like a fright and make him think he's being pulled up on by people that's gonna attack him. Let's have a tinted window car, drive, stop quickly, swing the doors open and move towards him like this to make him think that there's people that are pulling up on him to attack or something like this. There is nothing indicated the police, like plainclothes police officers. So the Swedish police department is part of the Swedish state, and I'm a part of state persecution in Sweden, called GANGSTALKING. GANGSTALKING is real, most online things are not. So remember that. I'm not responsible for what kind of intelligent agent fake TIs are saying. Meaning, "Oh, Mike, you're crazy." A big part of the perception management, it works. Why, if I'm up on a panel as a guest, and people know me as like the TI vitamin C guy or something like this, and they'd be like, "Oh, what did the voice in the head tell you?" Well, if I go on a panel, "Yeah, I'm not talking the video." And they go like, "What?" Maybe they Google it, and they come back, "What did the voice in the head tell you?" Because there's so many fake TIs active online who have a job to discredit top of gang stalking by bringing up gang stalking, claiming to be a TI, and then making it sound completely nuts. Hence all the talk about remote neuromonitoring, brain reading machines, V2K voice to cranium machines. Okay, V2K favorite talking point of fake TIs. That was given away. It's like V2K favorite talking points of fake targeted kind of intelligence agents. And a big part of how they operate is to copy me. That's what they do with fake TIs. They will copy real TI. Your story, what you talk about. See, I've seen that. I've seen that, how they do that fake TIs that haven't been established as a live streamer for 5+ years as a target video. It's like there's an anonymous person on the internet. That was the point. For example, there's a fake TI, Brandon, who showed up on my channel, attacking me, harassing me, attacking me. And he came up on my panel. Notice how after I shared the truth, what happened before I became a target video. I got a letter in the mail from a Secret Society member, relative, odd fellow Secret Society member, where I shared here's the time of events what happened right before the target started. I got a letter in the mail from a Secret Society member, relative, odd fellows, trying to control me, tell me what to do with my life, nudging me. Tell me what to do. And I went no contact, that's his call, I didn't get back to him. And shortly after the target started, there was another relative in the Secret Society reached out to me too. Bifrost Orden, a Swedish society. Notice how there's a bloodline, Secret Society's entire bloodline, like an Illuminati, low-level Illuminati, at least connection. Chuck Lambert's website, SATANIC, who is both gang stalking, on the bullet point fact list, Secret Societies in there. There's a Secret Society connection. There's a lot of torn videos that I believe are real are the few real ones. That I've heard them say the grandfather was a Mason, and they have a bad relationship or some kind of connection to secret societies. So anyway, after I shared it in the live stream, some guy shows up in Brandon Kid wants to join the panel. It's like, oh Mike, what happened before I became a target video? I got a letter in the mail from the US top generals in the army. Special forces wanted me to try out for the special forces. They want to recruit me to special forces. Notice how it's like copying my story like a full letter, the bulk of it. Like Mike is a real TI claims what happened before starting letter in the mail from deep state, like secret societies, and then claim the same story and make it sound crazy and unearthly. See, like claim the same story. Oh, I got a letter too, Mike. Right after I started talking about it, he never said that before. Oh, well, I got a letter to mail from top general saying they want me to special forces. It's like taking my story and put a crazy spin on it and claiming, yeah, what happened to me? I got a letter too. Do you understand? It could have been that they put a chip in my brain so it was my letter or something like this. See, to be like to use a real TI's story and then like discredit it by oh, I'm also a TI just talk about getting letters to the mail before the tour started, and it's real. I'm real crazy, okay? Because everybody knows it's not how it works, okay? Everybody knows it's like the Navy SEALs are not sending letters to random unathletic, weak, soft guys like Brandon, and like, yeah, we want you in the special forces, the Delta Force, or something like this. I think how it actually works is you have to go through standard training, like basic infantry, something like this, and then get drafted. Like maybe if you're standard infantryman, and then your commander might have to recommend you for try it for the SEALs or whatever, Delta Force or Rangers, something like this. I think you start out being a regular army man, and then you might apply for it, or you might need a recommendation for this. So I don't think they send letters to randoms, like, hey, it's the special forces, the top generals, we want you in the special forces, okay? Like random guy, okay? So it's like, anyway, it's the point. So it's the point. I'm going to get to the psychological warfare, satanic ritual abuse aspect of targeting. Tip of the spear, Mike Saha, okay. This Baron Holtas is laughable. He's not a deep state sellout. It's a tip of the spear, like overcompensating. The most effeminate little sissy boy who talks about masculinity. Yeah, this effeminate. Yeah, look who's talking about it. You're psychologically, spiritually, and physically effeminate. One of the most sweet little sissy boys I've ever seen. You look prepubescent. You look like you never hit puberty. Okay. So, anyways, the point. I'm a persecuted Christian taught with gang stalking or taught videos. And I've been taught for more than a decade. And I believe that the deep state controlled this world, understand? And I believe that they were active in my life since childhood, more working to manipulate me. Quite possibly some of the traumas that I endured, traumatic experiences, were by their hand, okay? In hindsight, looking back on my life and getting to a point where I was thinking about things, got out of survival mode, come up for air, sometimes you can start reflecting and thinking about stuff like years back. It's like secrets that, yeah, I got a letter, like what happened before the time of events. It's like, I got a letter, like, yeah, he said secret society. And looking back on things, putting two together. So, I do believe that they've been messing with me and my family since childhood, okay? I do believe they've been messing with me since my childhood. Only not to a point where it's like they make you know that you're target of a program where people are put up to target you all the time. So anyway, gang stalking targets is real. Most TS are not. 9 out of 10 TS, approximate my estimation, are fakes. 9 out of 10 fakes, crazy talk. Quick maths. Man can never be hot. So 9 out of 10 TIs are fakes. 9 out of 10 fakes, crazy talk. So if you see a crazy talking fake TI, 90% chance they're a paid fake intelligence agent. And I don't care if it's like pathological empathy. If it's somebody's like a TI, it's like, yeah, I did attack with direct energy weapons, but I can read in my mind with satellite. It's like, is this like 1 in 10,000 people that is like really crazy, like a TI or a non-TI who is truly delusional and thinking that they're a target individual? Do you understand? Most people talk like this are paid counterintelligence agents. The people that claim to be taught with V2 KNM machines. So it's like the rare 1 in a million or something like this, real crazy talking, non-paid crazy talker. Somebody's crazy not talking video. They're not a paid agent. It's like, it's like they're part of the problem. If they're used for either dumb dupe, like a reality has been brainwashed by listening to Captain Horton, Scott Snitzer, and other counterintelligence agents into believing the crazy talk by counterintelligence agents. It's like cults. Yeah, they're reading mind with satellites, okay? Video after video, like working to brainwash TS into believing crazy talk. And they're out here being a non-paid crazy talker. Scott Snitzer get paid to crazy talk, I understand. And Captain Horton. It's like the fakes get paid somehow to crazy talk. But it's like, if you're a person that's a TI, start listening to a fake TI like Captain Horton or Seth Daniels, spiritual crazy talker, or Scott Snitzer, who was active, and mostly technical crazy talker, and you start believing the myths. And you're out here making videos. I'm targeted, they read my mind, så surr telepathy portals for this. You're helping to cover up gang stalking. You're doing the same thing that the government pays other people to do, counterintelligence agents, to discredit by association to crazy talk. Real conspiracy, discreditation by association. It's like, here's crazy talk, real conspiracy, 9/11 being inside job. Dr. Judy Wood, direct energy weapons plant out of towers. Or David Icke, 9/11 inside job by the deep state, the space reptilians. The space reptilian deep state planned in advance, stuff like this. The shape-shifting lizard people. Okay? Do you understand? This is a tactic they use. And crowding out. So it's like, I'm a real TI. And you notice it's different how I sound when I talk and other people. You look at the deep state media hit piece, Vice News. That's a hit piece, propaganda piece. Or New York Times, they see gangs or stalkers. Where it's like, the obvious agenda is like, discredit gang stalking, okay? So Vice hit piece, they interview people not like me, okay? There's like, this is a secret, because I'm too credible, not crazy sad enough, okay? Because I'm not actually crazy. That's also what they're worried about. They're worried about people looking and hearing a person who's not crazy, not a paranoid schizo, not delusional, listen to that person, that the person won't seem as a crazy person who's delusional, paranoid, schizophrenic. If people listen to them. Which is why they had to work the perception man is if I had a chat open, they're sending cyberstalks and this guy's some cracker about him. He's crazy, he's paranoid, he's not trying to play people's perception. And also work to trigger me in the chat to get me like crashing out so I look more like crazy, okay. See? So they said like looks is like perception management. They said like once I got that, perception management is such a big part of how the deep state control the world and cover things up and control the masses. That perception management. So, anyway, it's the point. We gotta get to the satanic witch abusing, okay? So, gang stalking is what? I want to lay that out briefly for first-time viewers. Gang stalker taught videos, and maybe last-time viewers, because even subscribe to me YouTube, I subscribe you from me. Okay? You click to subscribe, don't count it sticking. Okay? So first and last time viewers possibly. I'm not joking. I do believe there's efforts to keep from going social media, shadow banning, and things like this. So, gang stalking is a real conspiracy. It's a secret program, persecution program, reminiscent of the Susetson program that the German government had in the 70s and 80s. Susetson. You can read Wikipedia on Susetson. German government had a secret program, 70s and 80s, more or less secret, targeting people. Okay, it's called Susetson. And this is very similar to that. Where there's people get recruited, there's smear campaigns, there's totally different ways. So gang stalking is a secret persecution program because it's a program that works to persecute a person, target them mentally and physically, and repeatedly. And if you move to city, you get targeted there too. If you move countries, you can't even count on the target stalking because the deep state are supernatural. Not supernatural, supranatural. Okay, above nations. Okay, maybe like a spider like this. You have this country here. It's a deep state, like Sweden, America. Do you understand? So, here's the point. Gang stalk is real. It's a secret program, and most TS are fakes. Okay, so brain reading machines not put it on them. Those are the crazy talkers. The Earth is not flat. Space reptilians don't control us all. They're not reading people's minds with satellites or remote controlling people. I don't get attacked with ELF weapons or direct energy weapons or microwave assaults. Okay? So, if they're crazy talking, beware of them. most crazy talking TIs talk about direct end weapons, all this technological crazy talk, woo woo. They're agents, counterintelligence agents. Just as they recruit people to be stalkers and fly monkeys doing harassment, they also pay people, recruit people to be fake TIs, active online. And there's more fake TIs than real ones. So I'm a Christian being persecuted, which is why you see me make videos. Christian taught a video, persecuted Christian taught a video, Mike's alive. As he said this. That's not spiritualizing it. I'm a Christian. Okay. I'm a Christian. Which means if I'm being persecuted, I'm a Christian being persecuted. See? So if I was a Buddhist, I could go, I'm a persecuted Buddhist. Okay. Do you understand? So, yeah, I've been taught it for more than a decade with this gang stalking. And I do believe that the deep state have been playing with like my family since childhood and playing games and working to and it just at a certain point in time they give up on trying to control me and flip the tone on me. Narcissists and psychopaths hate people they can't control. Narcissists don't like people they can't control. Just refusing attempts of a narcissist to control you can induce what's called a narcissist injury and make them want to take revenge on you. So it's like, if you look at the Chuck Lambert's website, List of Revenge, Secret Society, you don't understand psychology about it. So it's like, it's not that you have to burn down a narcissist's mother's house and like rape their wife and like murder their babies for them to want to take vengeance on it. For a narcissist in a secret society, it can be enough that you look better than them, that they feel hurt and want revenge on it. It could be that you outshine them and that makes them feel bad inside themselves. And then you become like enemy number one all of a sudden. That's called narcissistic injury. So, and that wanting to control you and you resist efforts to control you, that can also, okay, now it's bigger than that. It's not that simple. I don't think it's that simple. I don't think the secret society member is like the only reason that I get targeted is because I had some relative who's a secret society and he's a narcissist. I don't think it's that simple, but I can be part of the answer. So anyway, that's the point. I've been harassed by cops. The government is part of this. The government is part of this. The Swedish state is part of this. This is state persecution from GANGSTALKING videos. Here's one of the most, 1 hour and 7 minutes. Here, Christian churches participate in gang stalking. So gang stalking is physical and psychological targeting. They target physically and psychologically. What are the psychological attacks? Narcissistic dog abuse is a big part of it. That's a big part of it. Narcissistic dog abuse tactics, where they spy on you. So they can use something you said on the phone or out loud in your home or whatever, something you did in private, since being spied on. They can have flying monkeys, strangers in the supermarket or gang stalkers, reference something you recently said in private, on the phone, said out loud in your apartment, and they can have, that's proving that you can be harassed suddenly in public. If I hack your phone and you talk to your grandma, hey grandma, I'm worried about my orange cat. You know the orange one. I think it might have been food poison or something like this. And then you finish up, you go to the corner store, and I'm there, and I'm a gang stalker, I got my handler. And it's like, I've been told when you're in earshot, it's like, talk, or get like a fake call. Yeah, I'm worried about my orange cat, I think it's been food poison. And it's like relaying something that you said on the phone, like 15 minutes ago, and you especially if it's happened several times. If it happens one time, somebody might be like, maybe synchronicities are real. Okay. But eventually, they want you to notice that you're being spied on for detrimental effect. So it's like, they keep doing it until this becomes part of, yeah, this is part of the target landscape. This happens. I go to the supermarket or somewhere, this flying monkeys are reference software said in private, within private, to make you feel violated and harassed. So if I was working with you at your workplace, and I started every day you're around me, I reference something that you reason, like I'm commenting on your private life because you're being spied on. It's like something you said on the phone to your grandmother or mother or wife. It's like your pillow talk with your wife. I'm referencing that you're being spied on. Okay, you feel harassed. If it's like, and it becomes a pattern. It was like you watch a document like Werner Herzog Life in the Taiga tonight, and then tomorrow you go to the supermarket, and there's somebody's like, when you're in the checkout now, two guys say reputation. Yeah, well, let's go watch Werner Herzog Life in the Taiga. Referencing things that you're doing in your private life, and that'll be to anybody else in the vicinity that don't have the missing puzzle piece of your personal experiences, recent. It will be like just small talk. People talk about a movie, talk about grandma, pet, sick pet, and nobody else can tell somebody's being harassed, other than the target, because the missing puzzle piece is your personal experience. Okay. I mean, it would be similar to this. I've used a silly example before. Like before I start this live stream, if I would be here, plug in the cable, I'm sitting here, think about what. Okay, let's make a video. What can I bring up? Don't forget this thing. And it's like I ripped like a major fart, and it's like, whoa, okay, that was a big fart. Okay. And then it's like I go live with it. 3 minutes later, and then the chat is open. A cyberstalker work for Poland comes. You look like you just farted or something like this. Say. And it's something that happened 3 minutes ago. And it's because, just like you're hearing my voice right now, my phone is there. When I'm not live streaming, the government is listening through my microphone. So it's like, if I was sitting here talking out loud, I'm so mad about the talking, okay? Scumbags. They're hearing me just like you're hearing me when I choose to go live and share my voice with people. Because they're tapping into my microphone and the front cam and back cam, as it is. Now, that's the thing. Don't get paranoid if you've been in contact with somebody who's a total video claims to be. I believe that everybody is being spied on. The difference is that targets know they're being spied on because they will utilize information they gather by spying on you to tailor-make customized harassment skills, narcissist abuse tactics. So I am of the belief that everybody's being spied on. I believe in the surveillance society. They're keeping tabs on everybody. They spy on everyone. The difference is targets know one being spied on. So that's one of the benefits. It's better to know you're being spied on than to not know. Okay. So, anyway, the narcissistic always abuse and the satanic witch abuse. So, what is the targeting? A big part of the targeting is narcissistic always abuse tactics, harassment. Every time I target out in public, even if I go just out of my back, there's people get sent out to their agents in the neighborhood to walk past the back and do some directed speech or street theater skit. It could be references of I said in pride using trigger words that have been like a theme in my harassment. Once again, a word that other people might not be apparent that I'm being harassed. They go on the back and they're smoking. And like time of events, I go on the back and I smoke. Oh, there's that neighborhood lady again. That a lot of times after I go out here, she leaves her apartment, walks past and has like a loud conversation or acting weird. And it could be like trigger words. Certain words that have been like a theme in my harassment. Okay. So this is type of targeting. There's also physical targeting. Okay. I've been sprayed with chemicals. I have a wound in my right leg. I got shot in the leg with what I think could have been a CIA dart gun. You can search CIA dart gun. I suspect something like that. Something similar to that. Out in public, a perp walked past me. I felt something hit my leg. And I had a strong reaction. And I still have a numb spot. Like an off feeling. Like an off feeling in my right leg. More than 3 years after this happened. Permanent damage. Sounds like if you get the problem, whoa, it was healed, okay, because like, then it wouldn't have been permanent, okay. But anyways, the point. So I've been sprayed with chemicals. How else have I been targeted physically? They try to make me have accidents from outside. I've been sprayed with chemicals. They have spy gadgets where they can sit, like that happened on the restaurant once. I was sitting eating, and there's a group of perps walk stand next to my table, and they have like a head. And hold their hand like this, and I feel like let's say if you would have an aerosol perfume in there and you start reacting to it. I've been attacked like this. They also have cars that are decked out with a covert device so they can push a button that puts like a gas cloud in there, or even like a jet. Now they're more like to use like an aerosol, like gas cloud, like where it's like a and it's not like aerosol. It's not like a stream that people can see. Somebody has like a windshield wiper thing turned the wrong way, you go and spray people. Like they'll be a little bit too obvious, okay? So it's like they're working to be as covert as possible. Ted Gunderson talked about this stuff. So, also, you don't want to judge some of these truth speakers by the last part of life, because sometimes whistleblowers, unfortunately, towards the end of the life, the Illuminati gets to them and get them to start crazy talking or something like this. Okay, so it's possible too. It's not like, oh, you find somebody who passes the test, they're a real, uh, they're a real TI. There's no guarantee they will stay that way. I believe that a lot of fake TI kind of intelligence agents active online started up being real TIs that after multi-year targeting took the deal and started working harassing other people for the program. Do you understand? Maybe Scott Snitter started out being a TI for real, and after being taught for many years, he came to the end of his rope and he started working for the program. Yeah, and I don't know how it works. Like they get like an app and encryption and Bluetooth earpiece, miniature one, and they go to the training camp, government base, and they get taught psychological warfare techniques. I just say I don't know, but it's like it's whatever. So it's the point. I'm gonna get into the satanic witch abuse. So first, I need to say this: there are Christian ministries that are involved in the gang stalking. There's Christian ministries that are involved in the gang stalking. Yankee, Arnold, and Duluth Bible Church are two Christian ministries that have targeted me for the deep state persecution program. Another one is Andy Woods, Brandon Holthouse. These are some examples. But I'm intending to focus on Duluth Bible Church and Yankee Arnold. So, I'm a Christian, Tony, you know. And unfortunately, I've seen Christian ministries and pastors participate in this persecution program. That is very evil, wicked. Which shows that the deep state sell out puppets. It is the same people that close on the church if the government asks them, could you please close on your church? See, I wouldn't be surprised if we look into it. There's like Duluth Bible Church, one of these churches that have closed on the church during the pandemic, even if they weren't forced to. Meaning, there's some countries where they have mandates, like you're not allowed to do X, Y, and Z, and the government had like a law, you could be arrested if you're going to shop or wear a mask or something like this. Now, Duluth Bible Church, I would be surprised if one of these churches closed down their church meetings during the pandemic, even if it wasn't mandated. Speaking of the pandemic, I never got the COVID jab. I have remained unvaccinated since turning 18. I mean, it's not that just during COVID I didn't get vaccinated. I didn't get vaccinated before or after. Meaning, since turning 18, I didn't get one vaccine. Not tetanus, not flu jab, not nothing. No vaccine since turning 18. And I'm not criticizing people who took vaccines, but I should be able to share my vaccine status. Notice I didn't say it's bad, you shouldn't take it. This is YouTube, so it's like, if I had radical opinions, I keep it to myself. That's the point. All I'm saying is, I didn't take the vaccine, okay? If you want to make YouTube video saying you took it, it's up to you. I can share my vaccine status. I didn't take the vaccine. And I do believe that whatever, let's move on here. So that's the point. I've seen a lot of Christian ministries participate in the gang stalking. Duluth Bible Church, Yankee, Arnold. They have worked for the program. So if you're taught the video, you're taught with narcissistic abuse is a big part of it, the psychological warfare, which means flying monkeys, puppets that are controlled by the deep state. There are agents. They could be a pastor, it could be a firefighter, it could be a cop, a social worker, a neighbor. They will do narcissistic abuse tactics too, which means they will communicate veiled, subtle harassment basically. They have ways to get a message across to you, even gaslighting. And the thing is, it works better over time because the secret language for abuse is Sam-Backman applies to this. Where it's like, after many years I have been taught with narcissistic psychopathic abuse and having flying monkeys around you, it's like they kind of train you to pick up on the covert communication, see? So they can be more subtle over time. They can be more subtle over time. Like, for example, I can give you an example of how narcissism abuse in a pastor's interview can work if you're a Christian targeted video. Let's say I was bullied as a kid, and I was bullied, like I was called big nose idiot or something like this. Okay, big nose idiot. And the program knows because I got to therapy or something like this. Okay, in the system. And maybe I talked about on the phone with somebody once. Say, yeah, I got bullied when I was a kid. That you talk to a friend or something like this about being bullied. Yeah, I got bullied. Yeah, this is what they say. Come on, big nose. It's like the system has awareness. It's like a trauma. Okay? And it's like part of the video, subscribe to the Bible church. And then like the third live stream after subscribe to this new Christian ministry channel, the pastor be like, make a lot of jokes. Be like, oh, yeah, I saw this funny ad about some big nose idiot. Okay, or something like this. Well, you know what? I was in the supermarket gonna buy hot dogs, and I was feeling like a big nose idiot standing there smelling the food, and I was getting ready to. Do you understand? It's like it can seem innocent, but to a person that has this, like, they have been bullied and targeted with these words, big nose idiot, before. Like if somebody is a flying monkey, get told use the word work in big nose idiot in a joke or just in conversation around this person, they'll feel harassed. They'll be like, oh, here's another fly monkey. I got told to say this that make me feel like bullied and harassed. See, that kind of use the trauma to push my buttons. So it can be very subtle, see. And obviously, if it's the government, regular narcissists can do this. If it's the government, it can be even more sophisticated and refined in advance and covert. So here's the point. So yeah, that's the point. So basically, they have ways to communicate things to you. It can be anything from subtle threats to gaslighting. In a YouTube video, from somebody subscribed to the video, they becomes a flying monkey, get told to work in these references, knowing that when the target watches the video, they interpret as a threat or like gaslight. Oh, they're saying this about me, understand? That's part of targeting. And both to the Bible church, where I think Arnold have done this. So earlier on they told me, now I'm strong and I'm ready to teach you. It's like I can make videos teaching the gospel, and it's like I don't need, like I need to have a pastor help me understand the Bible or something like this. Okay. Now, when I was more broken down and confused and had brain fog, and I was like reeling from the torment mentally and physically years back, I was like a stray sheep, and I'm more like beat up, and it's like, oh, look for allies, maybe if we find some other Christians to listen to can help, kind of stuff. Find a church pastor to listen to in the persecution can help. Psych, the pastors joined the persecution. Grievous wolves in sheep's clothing. Where I'm targeted by a predatory group effort, hounding me, a Christian, attacking me physically, working to destroy me, and grievous wolves not sparing the flock. It's not like, oh, at least there's one place I listen to Christian ministries, I don't get targeted for this predatory persecution from work to destroy my life as a Christian. No, it's like wolves in sheep's clothing. Like, I'm a pastor, their job is to like edify and help the body of Christ. And if I'm a straight sheep persecuted Christian, targeted by predatory gang stalking, the pastor will start targeting me for the program. See? Which is the opposite of what you're supposed to do. So anyway, that's like lessons learned the hard way. So here's the point. One of the most nefarious ways I've been told me, I'll get into it. And there's a bug. I might have to update my YouTube app. For some reason, there is a bug where I click the camera icon to turn off the camera. There's like a bug. And I click it to turn it on. It doesn't turn on again. It's still like closed out. I don't know if the GANGSTALKIng hacked my electronics or this, or if it's just that I need to. And suddenly it switched, so they disappeared from the sidebar control panel, where you should be able to click. There's like a circle, you can click switch front back cam. After I click to turn off the camera, which you can do, the little thing disappeared. So I don't know if that's like a bug, I need to update the app, or if it's targeting. So I had to go watch my stream on YouTube to see if my camera is on. Test it.
Nobody else can tell them.
I'm watching my stream. Okay, so the camera's off right now. Okay, yeah, so here's one of the ways that I've been taught by Duluth Bible Church and I think Arnold. At a certain point in the talking, gaslighting and psychological warfare is a big part of talking. I remember this physical attacks too. I've been taught physically. A big part of the psychological warfare is CPTSD, PTSD formation, maintenance, and exploitation. Meaning the program works to create PTSD, CPTSD in the target, and then they used to work to maintain it and capitalize on it, like trigger it. So they work to get you to have CPTSD. They work to get into fight-flight when you're around people, to get you hyper-adrenalized and stressed all the time, which in of itself would be a poison, which is why you can call it the stress weapon. So if you give somebody CPTSD and then the government's working to stress them out in public all the time, and generally, they'll be stressed, and that would be like a physical, just the psychological targeting. To be precise, it's like, yeah, the psychological targeting, physical. Well, the psychological targeting affects you physically. Narcissistic abuse gives people brain damage, according to studies. Long-term narcissistic abuse in of itself, I'm not talking about government level now, but regular, quote unquote, will lead to brain damage, okay? Like little brain damage. So the psychological violence is a form of physical violence, if it's of this, to this level. I mean, if it's somebody insults you once, okay, if somebody insults you one time, and okay, that's one thing. But if like people are paid to show up when you're insulting, gaslighting, and threatening every day, that is going to affect you in a way where it does actual bodily harm over time. Unless you're a robot. If you're a human, you have feelings, it's going to affect you. So anyway, it's the point, which is also where I come in, where I'm valuable not just to the TIA community, but the general like narc abuse people that are looking to hear from narcissists, because apparently I've cured myself of panic attacks while the abuse is still going on. PTSD, CPTSD, I don't have CPTSD, PTSD, I don't think. Because it has to be like, it can't be like one day in a week you lose it and it gets super triggered, hyper-adrenalized and crash out, and you have PTSD or something like this. It's like, I would say they have to be like every day you walk on eggshells, being triggerable and super stressed all the time, pretty much. Okay, because I'm not a dramatic person. So anyway, it's the point. One of the most nefarious ways that the Bible Church taught me is, I think Arnold, there was a certain point in taught me where the program started threatening to harm my mother, see. Because it's like David, where it's like all he had, see, thou art the man, all he had was this thing, okay? So it's like back, now I have some relationships, but back a few years back, pretty much the only one I had to talk to was my mom that I could like trust, okay? That's like one of the few people I had in my life that I could kind of talk on the phone with them. Do you understand? And she's a good natured woman, she's a Christian, okay? So it's like we support each other. And we've had a good relationship. So anyway, that's the point. I guess that the threats against me didn't take enough. We're going to kill you, we're going to do this to you. And not just empty threats, but like threats and then following up on the threats that following on. It wasn't taking enough on me. So they started threatening me to hurt my loved ones and actually hurting loved ones, the program, physically, GANGSTALKING persecution program. And here's one of the psychological warfare themes, tactics they used on me. So the GANGSTALKING program at a certain point in time started communicating threats that are going to hurt my mother, make her bleed. Okay, we're going to hurt your mom. And I felt it like in moves for the program, it's like the mother blood sacrifice murder threat theme, okay? Because it's like, do you understand? It'd be like, oh, the gaslighting, you're gay gaslighting narrative. And then some other like the gaslighting narrative, you're a Nephilim. It's like gaslighting narrative, Nephilim, gaslighting narrative, you're gay, gaslighting Nephilim, you're a demon. Or, do you understand? There's like different things that you dealt with, and it's like categorizing it like, oh yeah, they've been used, here's a tactic they used for a long time. This gaslighting theme or narrative. was like, you're this, okay? And for a while, they were really using this gaslighting angle a lot, and then that stopped working, so they switched to something else, or something like this. So, yeah, so here's the point. At a certain point in time, the program started threading they're gonna hurt my mom. And remember what I told you, it's like, how do you, it's not that they're gonna call you on the phone, hey, it's the guy, we're gonna hurt your mom. Okay? It's gonna be via flying monkeys, subtle. Via these flying monkeys that they have, they will get told to convey, communicate more or less subtly, subliminal, like veiled threats until you get the message. It's like, oh, okay, here's what they're saying. And it can be maybe a week of them getting the flying monkeys to communicate things to you until it's like, oh, they're saying this, okay. They're saying this. So, at a certain point in time, they started threatening me that they're gonna hurt my mother, make her bleed, and then like sacrifice. They were like attach it like sacrifice. We're gonna make your mother bleed, hurt her, blood sacrifice. Okay. So basically, they started threatening me that they're gonna hurt my mother, make her bleed. And Duluth Bible Church in Arnold. And this is like what, 6 years, 7, 8, maybe when I started listening to them, and like when this narrative was in full swing. When I leave my old apartment, peace apartment, it's like, yeah, no, they started communicating these veiled threats, okay, for the program against my mother, gonna make it bleed and stuff. And the program is also communicating, so like part of communication is like the puzzle pieces where they're saying this for this flying monkey, this for that flying monkey, and it's like put the pieces together. So after a while, if they've been threatening you, you got the message, it's like, oh, they're saying they're gonna make my mother bleed. Heard my mother make you bleed, that's what can I sacrifice. Now it can be enough that a flying monkey is like a pastor gets told to make a video. It's like, yeah, I went to leave some blood. Like I've subscribed to the channel, to the Bible Church. Yeah, you know what? Me and my wife went down to the blood drive and donated some blood. So I sacrificed a little bit. Okay. It's like, and my mother, I brought my mother with me, and she also left some blood. So we sacrificed our blood. My mother sacrificed her blood, see, to help people that they might need a transfusion or something. Do you understand? It can be so. Notice how they can make you get a message while being subtle, and it can be even more subtle than that. So basically, not to get bogged down in the details, nuts and bolts of like how they carry everything out, I can go to like, here's what they've been saying, okay? So at a certain point in time, they started communicating this threat via the flying monkeys, Duluth Bible Church, Arnold, and others. They're like, they're gonna make my mother bleed, the program, deep state persecution for called GANGSTALKIng. They're gonna hurt my mom, make you bleed as a sacrifice, but sacrifice. Which was, I wasn't liking that, okay, obviously. And that's CPTSD, PTSD formation to create that waiting for other shoe drop to drop effect. Because they didn't do it like, they didn't make good on the threat like after a week. They were like milking this to like use this as a trigger to be able to get me stressed and like trigger, get me stressed and feeling bad for a long time. So it's like they were using this for a long time so it's basically analyzing it from a psychological perspective. It's CPTSD, PTSD, formation maintenance, where it's like creating the waiting for the shoe to drop effect, where it's like the communicator we're going to hurt your mother, make you bleed. And then it's like, if you start to like remind them of the threat any day now. So it's like you're going to wait for the phone call, mom got a car accident or had an accident or had a heart attack, whatever the thing could be. Do you understand? It's like you're waiting to get the phone call any day. And it's like if you start to like forget about it, it's like they're going to remind you. See? They're going to have flying monkeys to remind you. It's like, oh, he started relaxing. We need to remind him that we're going to hurt his mother and make her bleed. Okay. See? So it's like waiting for that shoe to drop, PTSD, CPTSD effect. And this stuff doesn't work on me anymore. Now, anyway, here's the point. It pisses me off. It doesn't have the effect that it used to. And I've learned about. So anyway, here's the point. Not only were they communicating this threat, but they started adding a gaslighting narrative to it and projection. So basically, they started communicating, we're going to make your mother bleed as a sacrifice, and you want us to do it. So to the trauma cocktail, they worked to get like self-blame, get me to blame myself, and also, I guess, to put off the responsibility from them. So it's like Duluth Bible Church, it's like, oh, it's not that we're shedders of blood and like cutting people's mothers after threatening blood sacrifice against Christian men's mothers. It's like he warned us to do it. It's like it's his fault that this happened. So anyways, the point started communicating says it's going to hurt my mother, make her bleed as a sacrifice. And then on top of that, they had insult to injury. Gaslighting was like, and you want us to do it. And it'd be like the gaslighting would be like, yeah, we're going to hurt your mother, make her bleed, and you want us to do it. You believe that God wants you to sacrifice people. That's what you believe, see, gaslighting. It's like, you believe that God wants you to sacrifice people. That's what you believe. You believe God wants you to sacrifice people. That's what you believe. So you want to sacrifice your mother, and you think that that's what God wants you to do or something. Do you understand? Like gaslighting on top of the threat. And it'd be like, the gaslighting would be first a threat to hurt my mother, then be like, and when we do, it's your fault because you want us to do it. And consistently, do you understand? And this is before I became more public and like rant on YouTube to vent and fight the tyranny and expose things. It would be like before live streaming, I go to the corner store, let's say, they have flying monkeys, they'd be like, oh, my mother left blood. That it has somebody to remind me of this, like get a message across, like, oh, they have some flying monkeys, be like, yeah, you want to sacrifice your mother. We're going to hurt your mother and you want us to do it. Okay. And I come home and I'd be like this, like, yeah, okay. It's like, you tell me through flying monkeys, you seem to think that I want my mother hurt. I don't want my mother hurt. Let me be abundantly clear. I don't want my mother hurt. Leave her alone. Okay, so it'd be like I pick up on the communication by flying monkeys, online or real life. It's like, oh, they're saying again, it's like, yeah, you want us to hurt your mother. We're going to hurt your mother and you want us to. And I'm like, okay, I come home. I don't want to hurt my mother. You seem to be saying, by the flying monkeys, you think I want you to hurt my mother. I don't want you to hurt my mother. Leave her alone. And this is like, this is what's so exhausting for me. I had a period before I learned certain things, became like informed of narcissistic abuse and strengthened and got out of that fight-flight mode and PTSD. So I can boil down what it was, but it's basically, I'm not like this anymore. But it's like, stop trying to talk sense into the narcissist. It's not that they're telling you, like, they're vulnerable to the truth, that you can talk sense into and help them see the light of day. Okay? It could be like the narcissist, like, you're planning to cheat on me. And they're projecting that they've been going out thinking about cheating on you. And they're like, you're planning to cheat on me, I know it. They're like, no, I would never. Do you understand? So it could be projection. And then you could be like, well, here's why I would, and try to talk sense to them. Like, they're not looking to know the truth. It's like they have made up their mind, and they have a narrative that they're convincing themselves and work to convince you and possibly others of. So it's not like if you show them logical facts that like prove them to be wrong, okay, that you're going to be like, oh, okay, I was wrong. It's like they're doing it for effect, understand? So for a while, before I became informed, it was very exhausting. It was like I'd be out in public, watch a video from a sellout, and be like, oh, they're saying they're going to hurt my mother, and they believe that I want them to do it, see? It's like they're saying that I want them to do it, so it's my fault when they do it. And I spend like 30 minutes to an hour, like in my home, and be like, hey, gang stalking program. It's like, leave my mother alone. You seem to think that I want you to hurt her. I don't want to hurt her. Leave her alone. Okay? I do not want to sacrifice anybody. I'm not willing for anybody to be hurt. Okay? So it's like this. And I'd like spend hours to talk, sometimes hours. And I'd be like exhausted. And I'd be like, okay, I feel like I did a good job kind of explaining this. There's no confusion. There's no way now with what I've said here that somebody will be excused to think that I want them to hurt my mother. Because it's like, okay. And they'd be like, again, like, oh yeah, they communicate to you, and yeah, you want us to hurt your mother, we're going to hurt your mom, you want us to do this, your fault, what we do. And then they understand. And then I can get a little bit more specific, give you some examples. Let's say one of the neighborhood ladies in the same stairwell, apartment complex, was an agent. I know that from before. Okay. And it's like, I go to take the trash out. And at the same time, at the exit, the same time I leave, this like neighborhood lady who I already know is like a gang stalker, or like one of these people that have been suspected of being one at least. And then, like on the way to go shopping, I encountered a neighborhood lady. I go, hey, how you doing? And she goes, yeah, I'm doing fine. It's lovely weather today, isn't it? I go, yeah. It's warm and sunny. And she goes, oh, so do you like it warm and sunny? I go, yeah, I like warm. I like sunshine. And I go, okay, take care. Go away. And then the poet will come back and be like, yeah, that woman was an agent. When she asked you if you like the weather, she was talking in code, asking, "Do you agree to sacrifice your mother?" And I'd be like, "Do you understand? This is how sick it was." But it'd be like, "And do you understand?" And I'd be like, once again, be like, "Hey, when she asked me that, I would never have answered yes to that question if I had known that what she was asking is what you're saying that she was asking in code." It's like, I haven't, it's not valid, I have not agreed to have my mother hurt, okay? When she asked me that, I wasn't aware of any like potential underlying cryptic communication. Me saying, yes, I like the weather, it's not me agreeing to have you hurt my mother. So notice there'd be like threats that are gonna hurt my mom, and then try to get me to blame myself and be like, it's your fault, you've agreed to it. And it'd be things like this. Be like, I go down to the corner store, and I'm smoking outside the corner store before going inside to do my shopping, and then some guy comes up like, "Hey, can I buy a cigarette of you?" I go, "Yeah, sure, here you go." And then once again the point, like, yeah, that guy wasn't aided for us. When he asked if he could get a cigarette, what he really asked was for us the point, "Do you agree to have your mother sacrificed?" Something like this. This is how they were gaslighting, and like consistently, which like the mother gaslighting sacrifice theme. Okay, the mother threat, murder, sacrifice, blood, gaslighting theme, whatever you want to file it under. So for a long time, it'd be like, let's say somebody calls me on the phone, like wrong number calls and stuff, and phone harassment is part of targeting. Okay, so it'd be like, let's say I'm at home, I get a phone system call me, "Hey, it's from this phone company. Would you like to hear something about a new like mobile data plan discounted or something like this?" And I go, "Yeah, sure, I hear you." They go, "Yeah, so it's like you can get 12% off if you sign up this month or something like this." And I go, "No, thank you, I'm not interested, but thank you, okay, bye." They'd be like, well, when they asked, "Are you willing to hear me out?" He was really talking code, asking, "Do you agree to have, are you willing to have your mother sacrificed?" Like this type of stuff, understand? Or I talked to the phone with this Secret Society member, all fellows, and they call me, and it's like small thing, like, "Yeah, we're gonna buy a new car. We're gonna run this one into the ground first, then gonna buy a new one, and we'd like to be elevated, sit a little bit, get a little bit higher in a new car." And it might be one of these things, like in the moment, I feel a little bit uneasy, like I feel like there's some kind of game being played here, but it's like I'm not responding to it. And then in hindsight, "Oh yeah, you agreed to sacrifice mother because they were talking code." See, they're talking code. I'm not joking. And this Secret Society member, who it has been part and parcel, it's like the key to the puzzle. Remember, before I became a Ton Video, I got a letter from a Secret Society member, Odd Fellow Secret Society member, which is similar to the Freemasons, like a sister organization, you could say. And this guy has been in my life since I was a child. And he sent me a letter in my early 20s, like trying to tell me what to do with my life. I didn't get back and didn't listen to him. And not long after that, the talking started. And on the phone, I've had some interesting conversations with him, where he's been participating in the targeting as far as I'm concerned. So this targeting narrative, that gaslighting, "I'm going to hurt your mother and it's your fault what we do because you want us to, you've agreed to it," or something like this. They've been using it since I moved into this apartment. But it carried on for a while, and it still does, when I'm living here. And I talked to him on the phone, and the same person, like after we used this mother sacrifice, I want to finish up. So that's the point. They had this narrative where it's like, they come back and tell me, "Haha, now it's your fault when we hurt your mother, because somebody asked you if you like oranges and you said yes." Well, there was a flying monkey for us. They were asking in code, "Do you agree to have your mother hurt?" Or somebody said something in conversation, like something, and you didn't say like no, so that counts as you agreeing to it because they were saying something in code. See, and this was like a narrative. They kept doing this, kept doing this, kept doing this, and I'd be like exhausted, sitting like, "I don't want my mother hurt." It's like I wasn't aware. You're claiming this person asked me code. I wasn't aware of that. Do you understand? And it was like exhausting, and they keep doing it over and over again. And it can be anything from like somebody asked me on the phone some innocent looking question like, "Do you like oranges?" "Yeah, I like oranges." "Oh wow, you agreed to have your mother sacrificed." They come back, the program. If the person was a flying monkey or not. It could be like any conversation where I answered yes to the question. The problem with gaslight, it's not that every person has to be an agent. It's not that the phone salesman that asked me if I hear him out on the phone data plan is an agent necessarily. The program will still come back in hindsight and go, "Yeah, when you answered yes to that question,
you answered yes to the question, do you agree to have your mother sacrificed? So it's not that it has to be an agent. Now some of them will be told to like ask you a question to be able to come back and say you agree to something. It could be anything, like I'm outside in public, some guy comes up, could I borrow a lighter or something like this? And they see me smoking. And this happens all the time if you're a smoker. And then the program will come back and go, yeah, when that guy asked you for a lighter, he was an agent of us and he was asking Cole to agree to have mother sacrifice for this. So even they had a skip. Now here's the point. There's no excuse to believe that at any point I wanted to sacrifice my mother. So this is just for the Duluth Bible Church people to like wash their hands and be like, yeah, we're part of a program that does satanic witch abuse to Christians and like threaten blood harm, like to hurt people, shed blood of loved ones of him. And that's what we're part of. A program that threatens to hurt a man's mother, which is the only person he has right now in his life, back then. And they make good on and make him bleed. After tell him we're gonna cut his mother and make him bleed, hurt his mother like a blood sacrifice. That's what we work. No, it's like somehow it's like, no, it's Mike's fault. He wanted us to do it. And also for the gaslighting to be like, first of all, it's like having to go around worrying and waiting for the shoe to drop that the deep state is going to hurt your mother as it gets threatening. And then they're trying to go for survivor's guilt and it's like blame yourself. Because they've studied like codependent narcissists. They know that I'm a person who's more likely to accept blame than the average person. Like the two sides of the same coin. Narcissists who project, don't take responsibility. And then people that are the type of person that ends up being targeted by a narcissist sometimes. Like empathetic people that are more likely to accept blame and possibly have a little bit too guilty of a conscience where they might feel guilty for things just because somebody is abusive and they stand up for themselves, like you did something wrong by standing up for yourself. And the person might like feel a bit guilty for not even doing something wrong, see? Or like being able to be gaslit. If you're autistic, you move into this too, as I am. Like gaslight to be like, you are bad because you said no or something like this. You're bad, you stood up for yourself to bully, you're bad or something like this. So anyway, here's the point. Yeah, so this was a psychological warfare scene they used for a long time. Waiting for the shoe to drop, we said we're gonna hurt your mom and it's your fault what we do. And then they would like come and claim that I made a deal with them and agreed to them and consented to it. And be like, well, somebody asked you something and yes, so you've agreed to have your mother hurt. Eventually, after threatening for a long time, more than 6 months, they see they were gonna hurt your mother, make you bleed, blood sacrifice, okay? My mom goes on a vacation, and just like I had a dentist poke a hole in my tooth, I believe it was on purpose, and the program put him up on it. Targets also said to receive purpose and correct medical treatment, which means there's been a few times I've gone to hospital, sought medical help, and I felt as if the people were purposefully doing things to hurt me. Like I went to a dentist, and remember, GANGSTALKING Mr. Setson. I went to a dentist, and ahead of my appointment, I believe the program got to the dentist and got it to be like, when this guy shows up in the dental office, poke a hole in his tooth on purpose. And tooth infections can lead to heart attack and strokes and be fatal. And after I left the clinic, first of all, while in the chair, the dentist was doing directed speech in the chair with her assistant. So I'd be like, oh, while in there, I'm like, oh no, it's a perp dentist, understand? And it's like, what am I going to do? Like, run out of there? Okay. So, like, mid-extraction with tooth, whatever they were doing. So, when I leave the clinic after they poked a hole in my tooth, they had placed a dead rat that poked right inside the dental clinic. As some kind of psychopathic message here. Where it's like, yeah, it's like, we've done something that is going to kill you, you're a rat. And that's another thing, the dehumanization. Where the same program that has sprayed me with chemicals sometimes, when I'm out in public, will tell me, you're a rat, a cockroach, we're spraying for cockroaches, like in the psychological warfare. Okay? I'm a human being made in the image of God. My body is the temple of the Holy Ghost. That which God has made clean, that calls thou not unclean. See, Mike, you're a rat. We're spraying for rats. You're a cockroach, spraying for cockroaches, something like this. It's like, so, part of atrocities is always like dehumanization. Jews, the Nazis dehumanized the Jews. The people that were, when black people were slaves and segregated, white people would dehumanize. So notice how always committing atrocities to minority groups or even majority groups, types of people, is always like a prerequisite is dehumanizing them. They're a cancer. They're a virus. they're not a real human. A black man's vote doesn't count. They can't vote because it's not a full human. Like a black man is a monkey. I'm not saying this like in first person. I'm saying this type of stuff, the racist. Back when they had slavery, they'd be like, yeah, the black men are like a beast. Like you have an oxen, you're working hard to death in the farm or something like this. It's like an animal. See? So when they had black people, treat them like animals in like slave farms, whipping them, see? That's how you treat it like animals. Where it's like, oh, the oxen is not working fast, whip it, okay? And it's like, oh, it's tired, just working hard, working hard. It sleeps in a stable, see? No heating. And we're like, well, it's a beast, so it's like we're supposed to treat them like beasts. And they would even have Christians that would believe this, like, yeah, but black people are animals. Okay, so we had to write a team like this. Anyways, the point. This gang stalking psychological warfare theme that they did, I can give you a more clear example. An agent that is an agent, okay? I don't want to get into details right now, but it's somebody that might have appeared, where it's like, let's say there's like a Christmas celebration, it's like uncles and some friend over family member or something. So one of these people was an agent, okay? And we're going to like outing, okay? Now this is years back during the mother sacrifice scene peak, okay? And this guy already knew he was an agent because he's one of these people that when I'm around him, he'll do narcissistic stories to be tagged for the program. I could tell he was a perk, he was perking on me, quote unquote. And we're sitting down, we're going to have coffee. And then he goes into the cupboard and he gets a blue cup and a red cup. And he goes, now you get to choose. Do you want a red cup or a blue cup? And I go, I know what this is. So I go, I'll pick a red cup, okay? I like the color red, blood of Christ or something like this. And that's all I'm answering. If I want to red, notice, understand, so it's like, it got so weird where I could tell they were trying to entrap me and bait me with questions to be able to go, oh, Mike agreed to have his mother sacrificed. Somebody asked him in the supermarket to buy a lighter. There's like a perk that works as a cashier. You want the red or blue lighter? And I go like red. Oh, red is the color of blood. Blood sacrifice, you agree to blood sacrifice your mother. Probably will tell you afterwards. And if it's blue, it's like damn if you don't. If I pick the blue one, no matter what I pick, they're gonna come, oh, you've agreed to sacrifice your mother, understand? Because they're not honest. Be like, if they have somebody ask me, do you want a red lighter or blue lighter at a corner store? And the cashier is a perp, okay? If I go blue, they're gonna be, okay, you pick blue, you agree to sacrifice your mother. If I pick red, you agree to sacrifice your mother. If it's blue, it's like, well, blue was the law, Old Testament, Levitical priesthood, blue Israel, they were sacrificing animals, do blood sacrifices. So that you pick that. If I go red, well, that's the color of blood, so you agree to blood sacrifice. So anyway, one of these agents, when I was, we were gonna have coffee, goes to the cupboard, he goes, now you get to pick, and a red cup, you want the blue or the red one? And I go, red one, and all I'm answering is what color cup I want, nothing else. I actually tell him that, like specifically. So he asked me, do you want a red cup or blue cup for your coffee? And I go, the red one, and all I'm answering is what color cup I want, nothing else. Because I knew that the program was going to come and be like, you picked the red cup, you agreed to sacrifice your mother because red is color of blood. If I picked the blue, it'd be like, you agreed to sacrifice your mother because blue is the color of Levitical priesthood that shed blood of animals in the Old Testament for sacrifices. So no, it's like, damn if you don't. Bates double bind or something like this. If no matter which I pick, they're gonna go, oh, you agreed to sacrifice your mother. I understand. So they had plans for a long time to hurt my mother and pin the blame on me. Projection, narcissistic psychopathic projection, and also for like extra trauma where it's like they hope that they can actually gaslight me into feeling guilty once they do something to hurt my mom. So this type of stuff they would do. Also the Secret Society member who called me on the phone. I talked to him a few times on the phone. We're making small talk. This Arnold Secret Society member, same person we let it became targeted. And he was targeted for this program with this blood sacrifice. He working to be able to come and tell me, oh, it's your fault if you hurt your mother. Because, understand, he was doing that. So for a while, I was trying to get along with my Secret Society relatives and like what's it called? people pleasing and try to get along with them and see if you can get on the right side or something like this. It's like, do you understand? It's like, despite being angry and all their problems, it's like try to get along with them and see if they change and if you can't get the problem, get along with them or something like this. So this person called me on the phone from his country house, the Secret Side member, Oddfellow. Same person sent me a letter before the talk started. And it's like, oh, the small talk. It could be anything like, oh, we're sitting here drinking coffee, it's fine weather today, yada yada. So what do you do? It's like in the daytime. Well, it's like I read the Bible, pray to God, and it's like I read the Bible, take vitamins. It's like whatever, okay. And then I go to kind of work in like half a gospel preaching, where it's like he said something, but after the match I was Christian. It's like, oh, I said something like, I believe human beings need to get saved, okay, in Swedish now. That people need to get saved, something like that. So I start working up to like preaching the gospel. Sometimes I test the waters a little bit and don't go just full on. You got to burn in hell, okay, get saved. Sometimes I go like, yeah, I believe human beings need to get saved or to go into hell or something like this. Or even less, like it could be like, I believe the Bible teaches you gotta be, okay. So anyway, I start talking about Christianity, Bible, God, and this. And he goes, oh, I said something about, I believe humans need to get saved. He goes, I believe you're saved by sacrifices, he said. Okay. Jag tror man blir frälst genom uppoffringar. Okay. So he said, I believe you're saved by sacrifices. Like on the topic of like talk about what do you do in the day? I read the Bible, I'm a Christian type of stuff. It's like I believe human beings need to get saved, and I'm saved or something like that. It's like, oh, I believe you're saved by sacrifices, he says, and I go. Notice how they get him more clear now. And I go, I don't believe that. I believe you're saved by faith alone. I said, okay. I believe you're saved by truth. I believe you're saved by faith. Okay. And despite me saying, I don't believe that, they still rested to be like, oh, now you've agreed to it. Because I made like active listeners. It's like, yeah, I believe you're saved by sacrifice. I go, all right. Well, you know what? I don't. I believe you're saved by faith alone. Okay. And it'd be like, oh, well, you made active listeners after he said that, so that counts as you agreed to it. Okay. Now, somebody can say to me, I believe veganism is the way to go. And I go, okay, all right. Well, I don't. See, that doesn't count as me agreeing to veganism. If I go, yeah, all right. Well, you know what? I don't believe that. See, that doesn't count as like, oh, he said, I believe vegan is the way to go. All right. Or like, okay. Well, you know what? I don't. See, that doesn't count. I go, all right, or something, as if I agree to it. When I say I don't, see. So, I mean, you could even say, I believe you're saved by worshiping Krishna. I go, okay, all right. Well, you know what? I don't see. You could, that still doesn't count as agreeing. Oh, is it okay? You said, you made act listeners. Or like, oh, all right. Well, I don't. So this is gaslighting. Where it's like, no matter what, they're gonna come say that I've agreed to it. Okay. So here's the thing too. That really is like the nail in the coffin for me personally. And I don't think that they tell the cult members this. But back in my old apartment, in the heat of this, where it's like I started getting tired of having to like sit for like 30 minutes and I gotta talk sensitive. Like they tell me that they think that I want to have my mother sacrificed. I don't want to have my mother, leave her alone, okay? And they come back again like, well, now you agree to have your mother hurt because your next door lady asked you if you liked the weather and you said yes. What she was asking, do you agree to sacrifice your mother in cold? Okay. And it's like now I had to like spend 30 minutes explain how that doesn't actually count as me having agreed to it and I don't really want to. Okay. So at a certain point in time, if you're talking video, they tap into electronics, meaning that they have remote access to electronics in your files and everything, which means, I mean, one way I communicate to the program if I wanted to, is like after the end of the life cycle, you sit here and be like, you're scumbags, you gaslighters. You keep saying I'm this, I'm not that. And like just like you hear my voice right now, they will be listening through the microphone. So now on top of that, I open up like a camera app and record a video myself, and I saved it to my phone to make sure, first of all, they listen to you through microphones if you're talking video, so they hear what you're saying. Now secondly, it's saved as a file to my electronic device they can remotely access, I believe. So it's like I go and made like a lawyer, a catch-all disclaimer, where it's like, so I'm aiming to be like, I'm done with this, coming home, and the communication with flying Michael is like, you've agreed to have your mother sacrificed because somebody asked for a library and you said yes. Or it's like misinterpreted or something. Like I listened to an Eminem song and one of the words is about blood or something like this. Oh yeah, when you listen to that song, you will think you want to sacrifice your mother or something. It's like gaslighting. And I'm like, no, I wasn't, okay. So it'd be anything. So if I would like a commercial, like one of these Facebook ads of like sale on Band-Aids, okay, they come back that Band-Aids are used for wounds people bleed. You were sending codes to us if you want us to hurt your mother, make you bleed. This is the level. This is like a theme in my talk in the gas and psychological warfare. They were doing things in this. So everything I was doing was reinterpreted as you want us to hurt your mother. And then they would have people ask me things. And they would always come back and be like, if I answered affirmative to any question, yeah, that was coded. You've agreed to have your mother sacrifice. It's your fault, woman, heard her. And I'd be like, okay, no, I wasn't in on that. I have to agree to. I don't want to have my mother leave alone. So I got tired of this stuff. So eventually I'm like, I'm going to do like a one time for all cash all disclaimer. And then I'm just going to ignore this. And okay, it's more. So I sit down and I go, it's like, if there's any type of deal, because it'll be like, you made a deal. You've agreed to have your mother sacrifice her. I'd be like, if there's any type of deal or agreement to be made with me, it has to be clearly and explicitly stated, not by innuendo, not by cold talk, not by saying one thing and meaning something else, not by innuendo, cold talk, or insinuation. So it's like I covered like a legal document because like, how do they do it? It's like, well, somebody asked if you like oranges, and you said yes. Now, and then they come say, yeah, you agreed to have your mother sacrificed because they were in innuendo. They were saying orange but meaning mother sacrifice. It's like I covered every angle. It's like, if there's any deal to be made with me, it has to, because they keep saying, you made a deal with us. You agreed to have mother sacrifice because somebody asked you if you like oranges, you said yes. It's like, if there's any deal or agreement to be made with me, it has to be clearly and explicitly stated, not by innuendo, not by cold talk, not by saying one thing, meaning something else. And that covers everything. Because if they go, hey, do you like the weather? Yeah. Oh, but what we really were asking, we're saying weather meaning something else. Okay. Or like we were insinuating that. What does clear and explicit mean? It's like I made a disclaimer. So, and it's like once and for all, and it's like unless, it's like this is once and for all, okay, this stands. So you don't come and tell me again if somebody asks me a question if I like the weather or whatever. It's like, well, they were meaning something else you've agreed to. Because I've made now notice how this all shows that they're not innocently confused. That you can tell that from the poet's perspective, this is a man that the opposite of what is willing to have his mother hurt. He's like tormented, terrorized, traumatized by the fear of us hurting his mother. And he's working hard to talk sense into us, to be like, oh, you seem to think that I want to hurt my mom, I don't, and things, and all this stuff. So they, without excuse, they're not believing it, okay? It's like they don't believe their own lies. So it's like, it's just about traumatizing and abusing somebody. So anyway, I support, after that disclaimer, that really helped. That really helped to be like, oh, they're saying, oh, again, it's like somebody asked me to do something, and I go, answer the affirmative. It's like, do you want a cold glass of water, the waitress or something? I go, yeah. Oh, well, they were asking, do you agree to how much? It's like, now what would that be? There'd be an instance, an example of cold talk. There would be an instance, an example of saying one thing meaning something else. Meaning asking, do you want a cold water? But really they mean something else. It's saying one thing means something else. Clearly, explicitly. For them to be able to, after this, come and accurately tell me, without lying, without gaslighting, that I have agreed to have my mother hurt, they would have to ask me, Michael, do you agree to have your mother hurt and sacrificed? Yes or no? And then if I answered yes to that, then now they could say that, yeah, you made a deal as you agreed to it. Anything other than that, short of that, they can't claim that I've agreed to it, see. And that really helped to just move along. And also me defending myself helped me to get to a point where it's like, see that what they're like, they're not about actually like being honestly confused and believe these lies. They're out to hurt my mother and blame me for it, and gaslight me about it, like it's my fault that you did. That's what they're looking for. It's the same thing when the program has had other gaslight narratives, where it's like they have flying monkeys, a narrative that I'm a Nephilim, okay? That's actually a narrative they use. It's like micro Nephilim, okay? It started with like cyberstalkers online running communities where I was active, like Christian YouTube channels, comment sections when I was active, okay? They're writing comments on some channels, like Ed's channel. And there'd be people coming like, yeah, this guy Mike is a Nephilim, he's not a real human, okay? I don't believe he has a human soul. I believe he's a serpent seed Nephilim or something like this. Like explicitly people writing that clearly, dehumanizing me in Christian communities, like a smear campaign. And after that got me really irate. Now in real life, they have people in the neighborhood maybe use the word Nephilim around me, or same time interact with the neighbor wear a t-shirt that says Nephilim on it. And he walks out the same time I'm coming home or something. They say, I will see his t-shirt says Nephilim on it. This is the narcissist abuse tactics. It's like they might establish a theme by having some cyberstalker in my chat or leave a comment. It's like, Mike, you're not a real human, you're a Nephilim. Clearly, see. And then if I go out the next day and this person in the supermarket wearing a shirt that says Return of the Nephilim, they're, oh, here's a fly monkey, reminding me of this narrative. They're saying I'm a Nephilim, see. Do you understand? So if they day one say we're going to murder your mother, make you bleed, and then blood sacrifice, and then the next day a flying monkey that you already know is one of these agents has a hat with a blood drop on it. It could be enough to be like, oh, okay, they reminded me of this strategy I make my mom bleed, see. This is how subtle it can be, because it's like very sophisticated. So I believe that sunlight is the best disinfectant. I might not really talk about things like this. It's not my favorite topic necessarily, but I do like to stand up for myself and fight tyrants and evil and sick, wicked, evil people. Now, Duluth Bible Church, Raphael God, they're not gonna. I don't expect them to change their mind if they watch all my videos where I'm talking sense, because they're part of a system that's wicked and evil, and there's no good reason to do what they're doing. And they might have been told lies too, which they actually believe the lies of the abuser. That it gets them to abuse people for them. So I gotta finish up. And that's one of the most despicable, disgusting things. So anyway, this scene, the deep state gang-stalker persecution porn started threatening to make my mother bleed, heard her make it bleed as a sacrifice, blood sacrifice. And they were using Christian ministries, even. Raphael called to the Bible Church I was listening to for a while, to communicate these veiled, subtle threats to me. Before the program made good on the threats, which is the combination of the story, where my mom goes to, on a vacation, I don't remember it was Spain or Greece or something like this, years back. And she would talk, I don't know, a messenger call or something like this, and she says, hey, it's like if something happened, I went to the beauty salon. She's a diabetic. So diabetics, sometimes it's important to take care of the feet. Okay, they have bad circulation, they're more likely to have problems with their feet for some reason. So she goes to like a pedicure salons, that like foot care, where they take care of the feet. And she tells me, like, yeah, there was something that happened. I went to the foot care salon, and they stitched with a scalp when I was bleeding. And I had to go to pharmacy, get some stuff. And it's like a kind of small wound. But for diabetics, even small foot wounds can become infected and lead to amputations or even death. And this didn't make that up. I looked into it, yeah. It's like there's more diabetics that have amputated legs than non-diabetics. Okay. And that's I believe that they pulled strings to deep state to make that happen. Maybe bribe the person to view this law abroad. Just like I believe that when I went to the dentist, I had booked a dental appointment. I believe they got the dentist to poke a hole in my tooth, which could lead to heart attack and strokes, as a way to make it just look natural. See, if the program gets the dentist to poke a hole in the tooth, give you a tooth infection, and you have a heart attack or stroke, then well, he had a heart attack and a tooth infection. See, and like the hidden causes, the deep state got a dentist to give you one. So I've been attacked physically by the ways. And it's really disgusting. It's like these freaks. And it's like, it's more the pattern than the exception that I subscribe to YouTuber. It depends on how dangerous you are to the program. Okay. Meaning, if you make getting a lot of attention, I mean, if you're like a closet here, just sitting at home, not talking to anyone about this, it's like they're not really you're not that dangerous by you talk about gang stalking to like somebody or something like this. But if you're out here making videos about it, they fear exposure because this program can't survive the light of day. So there's different things that can make you more dangerous. Meaning having some people listen to have an online platform making videos, that's dangerous. It's like if you speak the truth, know the truth, speak the truth about gang stalking. And there is some other things that can make you more dangerous, like how influential are you, how charismatic. Even looks can matter, things like this. So, anyway, support. So I'm not saying every TA gets this level of targeting. Some TAs might get to this level. Now here's the point. I do get targeting from, like, it's more accepted than normal. I subscribe to a YouTuber, and it doesn't take long. Whatever it is, if I subscribe to a gun tuber, the major ones especially, if I subscribe to a gun tuber or a knife channel, I'm into knives, or I don't know, like a health fitness influencer, it's more the exception, the norm than the exception, the rule than the exception, that sooner or later they start doing those Star Wars abuse tactics too. They get told to put on a hat with a certain symbol. Somebody tells them, like, for the next video, put on this hat with this symbol on it, or use this word, okay? And like the narcissistic Star Wars abuse tactics you get. So it's like the Matrix movie. The government that can see, they live, meets the Matrix movie. And look around, what do you see? Businessmen, lawyers, police. They're part of that system, okay? And then they can be turned. They turn on you. See? So they have agents all over society. Matrix system agents. Deep state agents. And these agents of the deep state, they're not just taught individuals. They're used to manipulate the masses. So I believe that every school, if you have like 10 teachers, there's got to be at least one of them that's a deep state agent. It's like every hospital is going to have at least one nurse and doctor if it's a major hospital that's an agent. So there's people that are already agents. And then sometimes there's people that already are agents that are agents for the deep state in a neighboring city. I haven't met it, they haven't been up to target me yet. If I go to that city, it might be activated to go harass me in the supermarket, stuff like this. Now, subtly. So everything is subtle. Now, these people also used to do other things. I gotta finish up. So grab the video. Yeah, so I've been taught about the deep state with secret persecution for years. I'm a Christian taught with state persecution, and unfortunately, I've seen Christian ministries participate in targeting. Rafik Arnold Duluth Bible Church, and they have conveyed these. Before my mother was hurt by the porn, they conveyed these threats that she'll be hurt. Subliminal, subtle threats. Let's go on the video. You're watching Mike Saha live on YouTube. If you're watching this, you are the resistance.